Hare Krishna Prabhus. Welcome to our last day. Most important of Bhakti Vaibhav, chapter Canto first. Chapter Canto fifth, chapter first and second we discuss. So about second some revision. Then we'll proceed with the third, which is short chapter, small.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Last class we were discussing how Maharaj Agnidhra, he wanted to be promoted to Pitraloka. He wanted to get a son. So he went to Mandar Hill to perform austerities. And knowing his desire, Lord Brahma sent damsel Purochiti. And then we see that how Maharaj Agnidhra, he's glorifying the different limbs, the beauty of the Purochiti. And then like this. And then finally he proposes for marrying. So in that, so many wonderful lessons we discussed that how a sadhaka should be careful, who wants to progress in the spiritual life, not to be attracted to the beauty of womanly beauty. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that famous verse also, Niskinchananam Bhagavat.
Yes, thank you.
One more thing we learned that it's the greatness of Acharya like Prabhupada that he brings out beautiful lessons for sadhakas. But the very reason that these personalities have come in the pages of Bhagavatam, they are not normal, they are very highly elevated personalities. And we read in one of the purport, Prabhupada reads this Maharaj Agnidhra was a devotee and he has got genuine desire to be promoted to Pitraloka. And for that he is performing austerities. So much so that even after attracting Puruchiti, he is telling that you also help me in performing austerities after getting married. So this is the greatness of these personalities. And then of course we had very good lessons for sadhakas that how we should refrain ourselves from attraction to opposite sex.
His Holiness Bhakti Prabhupada Bhagavad Maharaj said all those people whose names have come in Srimad Bhagavatam, they all went back to Godhead. That's why purposefully some other names are not there. Just like Nala Maharaj is also considered very generous, at par with Yudhishthira Maharaj, sometimes glorified more even than Yudhishthira Maharaj. In Mahabharata, if you read, Nala Damayanti story is very famous. In the abridged version, it is there in 30-40 pages. So in whole Mahabharata, how much big it will be. But because his name is not there in Srimad Bhagavatam, so it's just generous king, not a devotee, so much devotee like Yudhishthira Maharaj. So these people have come in the pages of Bhagavatam, they are very special. Yes, any other? Anybody online? Any devotee? We can have their darshan also, if Prabhu allows. Yes, many devotees are there. Anybody wants to speak some point of revision? What happened? Where is Nil Sundar? Huh? Huh? Bahir Nil Sundar Prabhu. Screen Nirsan. Okay, chalo Prabhu, something you can revise also. We are revising him too much. Nothing? Over? Everything about is over.
Prabhupada writes in one of the purport that he quotes Nishkinchanasya bhajanon bhavat. What is that shloka?
Nishkinchanasya bhagavad bhajanon mukasya param param jagamishayor bhavasagarasya sandarshinam vishainam athayo shitamscha ahanta hanta vishabhakshanatopi sadhu.
So Prabhupada quotes this that the greatest obstacle in the life of sadhaka is attraction to women and attraction to wealth.
To?
Wealth and women.
Wealth.
And women. So Maharaj Pratap Rudra also refrained on means Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not want to even see Maharaj Pratap Rudra. Same way we should guard ourselves from attachment to these two things.
Any other? Online also nobody. Switch it on. But sound is not good.
when one is absorbed too much in lust, then he surrenders to woman without reservation. That-
Hmm. Yes. Hmm.
You are mentioning that how at the time of conception he was lustily inclined, and because of that, whatever the conception is during that time he was.
Hmm.
So one thing is
That
that
is a commentary by Acharya Giridhar.
okay,
Prabhupada quotes in Bhagavad.
in the purport.
Hmm.
Maharaj Agnidra, he is not a ordinary, he is also very great. Now, why he is attached to going to Pitraloka? Although he he has such a exalted father, so does it mean that because the desire or the attachment may be so strong that it could not be how to understand this?
I also don't know. As far as his birth, it is said that Priyavrat Maharaj was lusty, so he was born. But that because I did not come across any acharya. At least these two acharyas have not commented. So no idea.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. This is Randani Priya. Prabhuji, you explained very well that how the Mataji should be protected by father, husband, and then son. She should not live alone. She should be always protected. She should seek the protection. She cannot be independent. That point you explained very nicely.
Very nicely means, could you tell what was that nice point?
Yes, the woman cannot be independent even while decision making, or like it is given in shastras also, like women are less intelligent, so she should always have protection before marriage. The father should protect, then the husband, and then when she is aged, that time also she seek protection from the son.
I told one point, if you all remember, that when she is small, father is young, stout, he can protect her. When she grows youthful, then father is no more youthful, he is grown old, he cannot protect her. So young man is required, that young man is her husband. But then when she grows old, husband is also old, he also cannot protect. So then she is under the protection of young stout son, like that. Yes. And for that matter, not only women, our mind is also like a woman only. That is compared also. You can see mind is compared to monkey, mind is compared to child, mind is compared to woman. So the womanish nature means that we go by our feelings and all that. So the discrimination doesn't work. So when women are predominantly, they go by their feelings, and men also can go by their feelings, and that is the time their mind is weak. So that's why everybody whose mind is weak at any time, he requires protection. Protection by intelligence, or those who have intelligence. Intelligent people could be men. For women, it is men only in all three phases. Okay, any other?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. This
Hare
is Krishna Rupa Devi Dasi.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, also Agnidhara, because he had unsatisfied lusty desires, and he was always thinking of Purva Chitti even after his desires. So whichever destination Purva Chitti went, he also actually went to Pitraloka only, because after his death he was actually promoted to the Pitraloka, where actually she was also actually living, and he attained that particular planet. So means what? For example, you are thinking about somebody and that person has gone to hell, you will also go to hell.
Hare Krishna. To deliver him.
No, not that way, but
Okay. नारायण परा सर्वे न कुतश्चन बिभ्यति स्वर्गपवर्ग नरकेषु अपि तुल्यार्थदर्शिना. In the next canto, 6th canto, Chitraketu's pastime, this shloka will be recited by Lord Shiva. So devotees of Lord Narayan, they are not fearful of any condition, be they in heaven, hell, or Brahmajyoti, wherever they are. Api tulyartha they see all places same. So if at all devotee thinks of somebody who is gone to hell, it is only for his deliverance. Okay, so we'll begin with chapter 3. Rishabdev's appearance in the womb of Merudevi, the wife of King Nabhi. In Sanskrit, Nabhish Charitam. That means the Charitam, the character, activities of King Nabhi. Nabhi is the eldest son of Agnidhra. How many sons he had? 5? 9. 9. So Nabhi is the eldest. So 9 sons, that's why 9 islands, 9 divisions of Jambudvip. The island part is over. That was the sons of Priyavrat. So Agnidhra was given Jambudvip and other 6 were given other 6 islands which are separated by oceans, different liquid oceans. Now this is focusing on Jambudvip where Agnidhra was the king. Now he has handed over to 9 sons. So there are 9 parts of that Jambudvip island in the middle. Discuss that, and the names were given there earlier. What were they? Kitumal. Where were they given? That were 19th. Nabhi, Kimpurusha, Harivarsha, Ilavrita, Ramya, Hiranmay, Kuru, Bhadrashva, and Ketumal. And they also married 9 daughters of King Meru. Meru Devi is the first. Pratirupa, Ugradramstri, Lata, Ramya, Shama, Nari, Bhadra, and Devaviti. So of which Meru Devi, the eldest daughter, was married to this son of Agnidhra, whose name is Nabhi. So from them will appear Lord Rishabdev. So 1, 2, 3, first 3 shlokas talk about Lord Vishnu's appearance in King Nabhi's sacrifice. Nabhir apatya kamo agrajaya Meru Devya Bhagavantam Yagya Purusham Avahitatma Yajata. Shukdev Goswami continued to speak. Maharaj Nabhi, the son of Agnidhra, wished to have sons, and therefore he attentively began to offer prayers and worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, the master and enjoyer of all sacrifices. Maharaj Nabhi's wife, Meru Devi, who had not given birth to any children at that time, also worshipped Lord Vishnu along with her husband. So Nabhi is the first son of Agnidhra. And Jiva Goswami says this wife of Nabhi, that is Meru Devi, it is understood that she was barren. So she had not given birth to any child. Similar comment is there in Jiva Goswami's for the first verse of Agnidhra also. So their details were not given, but here at least her name is mentioned. Agnidhra's wife's name was not mentioned. Here Nabhi's wife is there, and very clearly it is said who had not given birth to any children at that time. Okay, the second. In the performance of a sacrifice, there are 7 transcendental means to obtain the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. First, by sacrificing valuable things or eatables. Second, by acting in terms of place. Third, by acting in terms of time. Fourth, by offering hymns. Fifth, by going through the, what is it? That much only, no? By going through the priest. Here's some printing mistakes there. Sixth, by offering gifts to the priest. And seventh, by observing the regulative principles. However, one cannot always obtain the Supreme Lord through this paraphernalia. Nonetheless, the Lord is affectionate to his devotee. Therefore, when Maharaj Nabhi, who was a devotee, worshipped and offered prayers to the Lord with great faith and devotion, and with a pure, uncontaminated mind, superficially performing some yajna in the line of pravargya, the kind Supreme Personality of Godhead, due to his affection for his devotees, appeared before King Nabhi in his unconquerable and captivating form with 4 hands. In this way, to fulfill the desire of his devotee, the Supreme Personality of Godhead manifested himself in his beautiful body before his devotee. This body pleases the mind and eyes of the devotees. So, this picture is there. You may take darshan of the picture. Here, you can see on the right side. When they are performing sacrifice, King Nabhi is also shown there. Above him, there is some umbrella is held, royal umbrella. And his wife Meru Devi is also offering obeisances. The priests are looking, they are glorifying, and Lord has come on Garuda. and behind him there are so many others also. Lord never comes alone, so they have also accompanied him. So Lord is not to be pleased by such sacrifices. Here he has not come because of sacrifices. He has come because of the devotional service of King Nabhi. That is the reason. Otherwise, Lord cannot come even when Brahma requests. We know when Brahma in cosmic disturbed situation, takes the demigods to Kshirosagar, to the shore of Milk Ocean, and they offer Purusha Sukta prayers. Then also Lord does not appear to Brahma. Only he can see the Vani, the voice. And the message is relayed. Tene Brahma Rudaya Adikave. Not that he can see the Lord. So seeing the Lord is not some ordinary thing. Very, very difficult. Even for that matter, for us as practitioners, to get the revelation, the form of the Lord visible is not so easy. We can have some revelation, but not like Lord appearing and speaking and performing pastime. This is not so easy. His Holiness Bhakti Rasamrita Maharaj says he just can't be seen like that. So Jiva Goswami says that King Nabhi was the Lord was most beautiful. The word is Supratika. That word comes in the third line. He was most beautiful, Supratika, because of his affection for the devotee. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says his heart was attracted to his devotee. The Lord revealed his pleasing form, which is pleasing to the mind and pleasing to the eyes. Nayanananda and Mano Nayanananda. Is Mana Ananda and Nayanananda. Gives pleasure to the Rudayangam, not Rudayanga. Rudayangam is captivating. Ruchira, like that. Read the purport.
In Bhagavad Gita, it is clearly said, Bhaktyamam abhijanati yaman yaschasmi tatvatah tato mam tatvato yatva visate tat anantaram. One can understand the Supreme Personality as he is only by devotional service. And when one is in full consciousness of the Supreme Lord by such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of God. Bhagavad Gita 18.55. One can understand and see the Supreme Personality of Godhead through the process of devotional service and not in any other way. Although Maharaj Nabi performed prescribed duties and sacrifices, it should still be considered that the Lord appeared before him not due to his sacrifices, but because of his devotional service.
So this is first point. You can remember this. Not because of his sacrifices, but because of his devotional service. Bhaktyamam abhijanati. One who is in such consciousness of devotional service about towards the Lord always. So he only can enter in Golok Vrindavan. So that's why we all want to be quite Krishna conscious. And that is through bhakti. So we perform bhakti. Bhakti is performed through 9 different ways. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnuho, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam. So one of the 9 ways, either hearing about the Lord, speaking about him, remembering him, or service, offering service to him, acting as his servant, as his friend, or worshipping him, offering obeisances. So these are the different ways. And at any given time, we perform one of the 9. That should always go on. Life should not go without one of the 9. If nothing else, at least remembrance of the Lord. Not so easy. At the time of the death, that's what we have to do. Today morning, Prabhu was telling His Grace, Vajasaki Prabhu was telling very nice point. What will happen at the time of death? All these bodily parts will not function. Eyes may not be able to see, ears cannot hear, and all that. Like Prabhupada, we can see he is lying on the deathbed. He is lying on the deathbed means when he was reading during Prasadam today morning. So he has returned from Rishikesh somewhere in the May month, 1977, and he's quite sick. So he's lying on the bed, and some devotees are reading out some things from Bhagavatam, etc. for him. So he says, "You become my eyes. I cannot see." So all the bodily functions will not work. Prane prayana samaye kaphavata pitta. The throat will be choking, and all that problems will come. So only mind is there which can think of Krishna, provided we have trained the mind throughout life like that. We have sufficiently fed input, devotional input to the mind. Then only mind will help us at the time of death. Otherwise, bodily limbs cannot help anyway. At least the mind could help if we have acted on it. Hmm? Yes, but then if the bodily concept of life is there, then even now we can see our ears are hardly hearing. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Isn't it? Now when we are hell and healthy, every morning we chant 16 rounds, 16,000, 27,648 holy names. How many we have heard today morning? How many heard? Some 20,000. In 4 days we become Lakpatis. Isn't it? 27,000 per day. In 4 days we cross lakh, 1 lakh. So we are so fortunate. But then Namakshara Bahu hai, Nama nahi hai. I'm only counting holy name. I'm not chanting. I can't hear only. Ears become deaf for Hare Krishna and Ram. And how many other things are going on inside. So when we are hell and healthy, this is the situation at the last point of time, life. Then what will happen? That can't. Other devotees may say chant. They may be chanting. We may not be able to do hearing. We'll be deaf. Now we are deaf to hearing holy name. At the time of death, how is it possible? So we have to train our mind. Whether now only, now is the time. At the time of death, how can I can train my mind? That time the mind will go crazy. As much as attachment to the body, mind will not be stable. My God, is it that I have to go out of this body? I don't want to go. I want to be in this body. What to do? All that kind of fear will come, insecurity. So that may be the case. So many people are like that. They don't want to go out of the body. So it's a very difficult, critical moment. So now is the time. So now only let us try to hear. Let us train the mind. Bhajahu re mana Shri Nanda Nandana Abhaya Charanara Vindare Dulabha Manava Janama Sat Sange Taraho Ye Bhava Sindhure. So Taraho Bhava Sindhure. That at the time of death we will be crossing the whole material existence. But in one sense, it is not as gross as an ocean, which you cross after a few hours. It is subtle rather. It is continuous passage. We are already in the boat. We are already crossing. Sometimes boat goes ahead, sometimes goes backward also, because of the mind is quite materialistic. So will require a lot of training, a lot of mind is not under my control. Moraman. So many words, so many songs are there, isn't it? Gopina, what is that? Man to pagal mora. My mind is pagal. Bollywood movies also say the same thing. मेरा मन पागल है, दिन का चैन रात का नींद खो गया, ये हो गया करवटे बदलता रहता हूँ, वो सब. So same thing, true only, but only they talk about the problem and very nicely he sings, very melodious singer sings the problem, and best of the what you call musicians they are playing, and music director is there, and people dance, and whole world says why ये मन पागल क्यों नहीं हुआ, उसका ही क्यों हुआ, मेरा क्यों नहीं. मैं भी पैसे खरीद के वो मूवी देखता हूँ, वो सॉन्ग देखता हूँ, मैं भी पागल बनता हूँ. Becoming crazy like that is the goal of life for outsiders. So problem is very nicely described here. The solution is nobody knows there, isn't it? So we are fortunate we know the solution, but we have to wholeheartedly embrace it and practice it. It's despite being convinced, our mind will again and again trouble only. During chanting, we can see that. How a particular thought comes, very insignificant thought only, but it just overpowers you like anything. It could be that previous night you lost your chappal. You went for some preaching program, and there somebody took away your chappal, and your mind is so disturbed in next day morning also. I went for preaching about Krishna. It was Janmashtami celebration. How did Krishna allow that chappal to go away? Who stole it? And my name was also there, isn't it? How can they take chappal with name like that? It doesn't take much for them to erase your name, by the way. No, not big problem. So much disturbance. Or somebody said anything, something bad, or morning you got up late, you had thought of getting up quite early in the morning, maybe 2 o'clock, 2:30. You told your friend to wake you up. He came, he woke you up, but you did not get up. And then you get up at 4 o'clock and all the plan was spoiled. So many problems. So not so easy. So take care. Read ahead.
It was for
Hmm.
this
Yeah,
reason
but one
that
minute, he has some question.
We see that this mind plays with feelings only. The whole game is about thoughts keep coming, and we hover on those thoughts. So we had discussed one point initially that just like a woman needs protection, same way mind needs to be protected from such kind of feelings. We should not hover on mental feelings level. So how to understand the feelings which I'm getting should be totally discarded, or it has some relevance and I can make some practical tangible action out of it.
We have to
get better.
consult Guru Sadhu Shastra by our own discretion based on earlier exposure to this. Or that time also we could read scriptures, but we may not be still clear. So we should approach somebody in life who is very fixed up in his intelligence, who doesn't get carried away by his mind, or at least that time he is not, he's steady. Sthita pragya. Such a person should be approached. And he could tell us, yeah, this is very good, what you are thinking. Then you may go at it. And then otherwise he may say, no, this is not proper. Your mind is cheating you. You think that this is a very devotional idea, but it's a very deadly idea. So he will tell in clear terms. He should not just know, he should have the guts to say also, very openly. Otherwise, some people feel, how can I tell? After all, Prabhu is so enthusiastic about the idea. He's quite convinced. How can I say something opposite of it? Some devotees are hesitant to speak, but somebody is very bold, very clear. Such sadhu is required in life. He will cut our attachment. Our mind comes to some particular thought and then it keeps, churning that thought and comes up with very nice idea according to our own mind. But sadhu means he will cut your attachment to material bondage. So some kind of sadhu like that is always required in life. Scripture says the same thing. Guru says the same thing. But sadhu is good in life. Who will be very straightforward and tell the truth without any hesitation. Otherwise, if you are very clear, you can use with your discretion. And phalena parichayate. If the shows the result is very wonderful, devotees are happy, you are blissful, and everybody is helped in some way or the other, then good. But sometimes it may be a very dangerous fruit, and then by that time it is quite late. You are already entangled in that mesh of Maya created by your mind. So that's why beforehand only better to consult somebody if we are not very clear about it.
it was for this reason that the Lord agreed to appear before him in his beautiful bodily features. As stated in Brahma Samhita 5.30, the Supreme Lord in his original nature is very beautiful. Venam Kwanantam Arvinda Dalaya Daksham Brahmavatam Ashitam Buddha Sundarangam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, although blackish, is very, very beautiful.
Yes. So Lord has appeared in this second verse in very form. Third, Lord Vishnu appeared before King Nabhi with 4 arms. He was very bright and he appeared to the best of all personalities. He appeared to be the best of all personalities. Around the lower portion of his body, he wore a yellow silken garment, pitambar. On his chest was the mark of Srivatsa, which always displays beauty. He carried a console, lotus flower, disc, and club, and he wore a garland of forest flowers and the kaustubh gem. He was beautifully decorated with a helmet, earrings, bangles, belt, pearl necklace, armlets, ankle bells, and other bodily ornaments bedecked with radiant jewels. Seeing the Lord present before them, King Nabhi and his priests and associates felt just like poor people who have suddenly attained great riches. They received the Lord and respectfully bent their heads and offered him things in worship. So I think Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says he wore a yellow silken garment It is understood that his complexion was dark. So that contrast was making it appear all the more beautiful. Somebody is very fair and wears yellow pitambar. Okay, but not so this thing. But when Lord is dark in complexion, on that yellow contrast makes it appear all the more beautiful. Here some analogy is given that they are compared to like very poor destitutes and suddenly attaining great riches. So all of us are very poor. We are being beaten up in this material world by Maya. Maya is the ruler, supremely opulent, and we get beatings like anything. So when we get the darshan of the Lord, that is the supreme riches, greatest riches. So that is the comparison. Purport.
It is distinctly mentioned here that the Supreme Personality of Godhead did not appear as an ordinary human being. He appeared before King Nabhi and his associates as the best of all personalities, Purushottama. As stated in the Vedas, Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is also a living being. But he is the Supreme Living Being. In Bhagavad Gita 7.7, Lord Krishna himself says, Mattha Parataram Nanyat Kinchidasti Dhananjaya. O conqueror of wealth, Arjuna, there is no truth superior to me. No one is more attractive or more authoritative than Lord Krishna. That is one of the differences between God and an ordinary living being. According to this description of the transcendental body of Lord Vishnu, the Lord can easily be distinguished from all other living beings. Consequently, Maharaj Navi and his priests and associates all offered the Lord obeisances and began to worship him with various things. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 6.22, Yam labdva chaparam labham manyate nadikam tataha. That is, upon gaining this, one thinks that there is no greater gain. When one realizes God and sees the Lord face to face, one certainly thinks that he has gained the best of all things. Rasopyasya param drushtva nivartate. When one experiences a higher taste, his consciousness is fixed. After seeing the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one ceases to be attracted by anything material. One then remains steady in his worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
So very nice statement. If you want, you can underline. After seeing the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one ceases to be attracted by anything material. How many of you feel that attraction to material things is there? So we are seeing Radha Vrindavan Chandra, most beautiful deities maybe in ISKCON. Many devotees appreciate the beauty of our Lord. So we are here only every day, compulsorily his darshan only. you, you are not having any other darshan. So how come? So that shows that we are not yet clear. We have not seen him properly. We have seen him with the eyes only. And eyes can give, they can cheat us. ये आंखें हमें धोखा देती है. तो इसलिए ears. We have to see him through ears. Through ears, we have not seen him properly. That's why, despite seeing Radha Vrindavan Chandra daily so many times, pujaris are seeing more than all of us, closer than all of us. So closely, those who dress. How many dress here? Radha Vrindavan Chandra. Or even others, Gaur Nitai. So closely you get to see, isn't it? In fact, pujaris have to be careful not to release the exhalation, that air should not touch the Lord. That's why they have to be very careful. They have to keep sufficient distance also, because Lord's body should not be contaminated. It's always pure, but we should not contaminate through our exhalation air. So they are so close, and all of us also go as close as possible. Sometimes we have photos of them, but we have not seen him properly. That's why our attraction to material things is still there. So that's what makes us humble, and this humility is good. Honestly, we understand, yes, my attraction to mundane things is still there. Yes, others appreciate me for being in the temple. Like those who are outside other temple, they make all of us will be glorified. Oh, you are in Pune, your lordships are so beautiful, you are so fortunate. And the grahasthas also even here will say that brahmacharis are more fortunate, because all the time 4:30 to 9, except for close darshan, more or less all the time they are having so much darshan of their lordship. Daytime also they are free. They can go take darshan, they can sing in front, and so many things like that. And we can say the pujaris are more fortunate, they go so close and all that. But still, our attraction to mundane things still prominent, shows we have not seen him properly. So we are supposed to see him through ears. We have seen him through eyes sufficiently, maybe, but that is not enough. I'm not saying we should stop it. We should do it, but in a better way. Pratima nahe tumi sakshat Vrajendra Nandan. Does that thought cross the mind when we are in front of Shishi Radha Vrindan Chandra? So here is son of Nanda Maharaj. Here is daughter of Rishabhanu Maharaj, Kirtida Mataji. That that all philosophy should come in mind when we are in front of the lordships. So we may look for so many things in this world. The beauty. The beauty in this world is temporary only. Here today, gone tomorrow. But Lord's beauty is ever fresh. You can say anytime you look at Radha Vrindan Chandra, you will feel freshness only. In computer, we know that refresh. You press, everything is refreshed. Means whatever inside, we may understand, we may not understand. But looking at Radha Vrindan Chandra is refreshing to the mind. But still, we have to do the exercise more. Similarly, we may think that this person is strong, that person is strong. Sometimes we get to hear some people in the world who exhibited some strength there, but that strength is nothing. They are incomparable. They just can't be compared with the Lord's strength. Similarly, Lord's fame is ever there. Sometimes we get carried away by worldly fame of the people today. Some politician like Narendra Modi has been glorified like anything, isn't it? It seems not only India is impressed, but even many other countries, presidents and all, they are also glorifying him and all. But what is his fame? It is very insignificant in comparison to Krishna's fame. So why is my heart not getting impressed by Krishna's fame? And why is it getting impressed by Narendra Modi's fame and some others' fame? Similarly, richness also. Like the other day I was telling, the youngest billionaire of India. Who? The grandson of Mukesh Ambani. Whatever his name, that I don't know. There is ad like that somewhere. So I happened to see that. The youngest billionaire of India. He's in the arms of his grandfather, Mukesh Ambani. Mukesh Ambani's son's son, whatever his name. Yeah. So we may think, yeah, this child is born with golden spoon or maybe diamond spoon. Because that Mukesh Ambani or his son has some 700 crore rupees of property in Dubai or somewhere. So that is just one thing. Similarly, the bodyguards are paid, two bodyguards, I think, some 15 lakh per month. One bodyguard, like that, two bodyguards are there. So we may think, so great, amazing this person, Mukesh Ambani, or maybe even his grandson. But this is nothing. How we are getting impressed by this information about Mukesh Ambani, his grandson, son, etc. And about Krishna, as soon as some pastime Govardhan, that Leela, so after delivering the wives of Brahmanas, then Krishna saw that Nanda Baba is engaged with all the baskets filled with fruits and then grains and so many things. And Baba, what is this for? Oh, we are going to worship Indra. Indra? Yeah, this is our tradition. Every year we worship because we are Vaishyas. We tend the cows. Cows need food. The grass grows because of the rains and all. As soon as I know ultimately what this, Krishna will live to Govardhan and then he'll keep it down after 7 days. And or Indra is so see, the approach is not correct. We should think, wow, really? Now let us see what Nanda Baba answers. As if I am hearing this pastime for the first time. That newness, freshness is not there. But about mundane things, it's fresh. Yeah, I was not knowing that two bodyguards Mukesh Ambani has and per head 15 lakhs per month. My God, what is the problem? Is there some problem? So there may be some freshness in hearing this because first time. How many of you heard for the first time? Yeah. So like that. But then second time, if you are told the same thing, so then it is no charm there. But Krishna's pastime has the charm. It is happening now. I happened to see Gaur Gopal Prabhu's one video. So in Prerana lecture, I think you're saying, but I still don't remember. It is a joke, but for telling the joke, some details are required, which I am falling short of. But something like one Maharashtrian boy was in the class, and there is something written alphabets, numbers were written. So what numbers were there? So basically they were in English, 280. You know that. No, three things were there. So basically referring to, like, he is a Pakka Maharashtrian boy. So how he says, the 280, he says that name of a girl, and 280, 280, 280, 90, 90, I think, 90. He says 90, 90. Then 99, 80 na 80, 99. A devotee is no better than me. So something like that, So, and then what he does, he tells the same joke again and again. First time everybody is laughing, all the boys. It's a Prerna lecture, I think, in Gopinath temple. All are laughing because it's a joke. It's like a girl, boy is asking, "Are you coming? 80? 80, 90? Huh? I think I'm breaking open that whole joke in a wrong way. You can tell, you know that. You know, don't hide. 90 to 80. Are you coming? The boy is asking to girl. 90, 90, I think. 90, 80, 80, something like that. So that kind of joke is there. So he tells the same joke second time. Nobody laughs. Third time he tells. Fourth time, something like 3-4 times he tells the same joke. Nobody is laughing. And then he makes the point there. Then I understood what is the point. He says, see, first time you hear the joke, you enjoy it. Afterwards, the same joke you hear, you are not able to enjoy. You are not laughing. So why do you cry about the miseries in life which come again and again? About the joke, second time told, we don't laugh. So when some misery comes second time in life, some headache, some body ache, why do you are miserable about it? Some misery you feel?
Same misery you cry every time.
For the same joke, you don't laugh every time. First time only you laugh. Similarly, for every misery, why do you cry? Same misery, why do you cry every time? Something like that. So material things are very pale, but then some newness is there first time, afterwards it's not there. But about Krishna, it is not like that. Krishna is ever fresh. Nitya Nava, Navayaman. That freshness is there. But unfortunately, because of our materialistic outlook only, we are not able to experience newness. Every time we hear the same pastime, like now Kartik month is going to begin, and then that pastime will happen because Govardhan Puja will be there. Somebody or the other will speak. Again, we will say, if you have material outlook, I know this pastime. This he forgot one line. That dialogue was very important. He forgot. Okay, no problem. He's not a good speaker. So we become a very materialistic approach we have. So there is no freshness, newness, experience, but one should be able to experience. So much newness is there in Krishna, ever fresh is. So when one experiences higher taste, his consciousness is fixed. After seeing the Supreme Person of Godhead, one ceases to be attracted by anything material. One then remains steady in his worship of the Supreme Person of Godhead. That means we are not yet steady. Anishtita Bhajan Kriya is going on, which we know it as Bhajana Kriya. So anarthas are still there. The topmost anartha is seeing everything spiritual materially. And we tend to see everything material spiritually because we are in essence spiritual. Only the application is wrong. Spiritual things should be seen spiritually, and material things should be also seen spiritually. See that these are all temporary. But unfortunately, we tend to see material things spiritually and spiritual things materially. Then newness, charm, beauty in spiritual life is not experienced. It is rather hackneyed, boring, stale, appearing. It's not like that, but it appears like that. Okay, so 4th to 15th are the prayers offered by the priests. Lord has come. So
Prabhu, I have a question.
Okay, yes, bro.
Prabhu, Maharaj Agnidra lustful activities are described in so much details. His son Navi is very devotional. So it is said that Maharaj Agnidra was interested to go to Pitraloka because Priyavrat was lustful.
Yes.
So how come Maharaj Agnidra was so lustful, but Navi has become so devotional?
Agnidra is also described as a devotee. He also, even while before marrying only to such a beautiful girl as Purvachatti, whom he glorified, as we saw yesterday, day for yesterday. But while marrying, he's telling her that you please participate, assist me in my austerities, my sacrifices within Grahastha life. So he also has the idea, and he also accepts her, knowing that Brahmaji has sent you for me as a wife, because I have come here for with the desire of son. So he's not like so-called pakka materialist also. He is also a devotee.
It seems that he did all
1 minute.
go to
Huh?
Pitruloka.
Okay, he is saying purport 17, Prabhupada says, you can see second chapter, 17 purport. Since King Agridhra was a devotee, he actually had no attraction for material enjoyment. But because he wanted a wife of progeny, and Lord Brahma had sent Purvachitti for this purpose, he expertly pleased her with flattering words. So he was also devotee. We should not think that he is worse than what do you call Bollywood heroes. We should not think like that. That's what I told earlier, that those whose names have appeared in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam, they all have gone back home, back to Godhead. This is a statement of His Holiness Bhakti Brodh Bhagavat Maharaj. So that means by now he must have gone back to Godhead also. So we don't have to worry about them.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Also, Bhagavatam presents so many scenarios so that we always learn something or the other. If you remember when His Grace Gaurang Prabhu came, he gave Brahmachari class. So that time he was saying, in my last 30 years, I have not encountered any what you call situation in life which is not addressed in Srimad Bhagavatam. All things are there in Srimad Bhagavatam. We have that poster A to Z in Srimad Bhagavatam. How many of you seen? Not others, you know. Huh? A, I think for austerity, B for something, you know, C, a romance, R will be for that. Everything is there in Bhagavad. A to Z is there in Srimad Bhagavatam. So these scenarios are also there. The details, because neither Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur nor Jiva Goswami gave details, so we are not very clear, but at least he is a devotee. Okay, so 4th to 15th, how many? 12 verses are prayers offered by the priests. 4th, the priests began to offer prayers to the Lord, saying, O most worshipable one, we are simply your servants. Although you are full in yourself, please, out of your causeless mercy, accept a little service from us, your eternal servants. We are not actually aware of your transcendental form, but we can simply offer our respectful obeisances again and again, as instructed by the Vedic literatures and authorized acharyas. Materialistic living entities are very much attracted to the modes of material nature, and therefore they are never perfect. But you are above the jurisdiction of all material conceptions. Your name, form, and qualities are all transcendental and beyond the conception of experimental knowledge. Indeed, who can conceive of you? In the material world, we can perceive only material names and qualities. We have no other power than to offer our respectful obeisances and prayers unto you, the transcendental person. The chanting of your auspicious transcendental qualities will wipe out the sins of all mankind. That is the most auspicious activity for us, and we can thus partially understand your supernatural position. Very nice. They are saying that we are not qualified to pray to you, in a sense, to glorify you properly. So they understand their shortcomings. Read the purport. Vishwanath Shakti Thakur says, though you are complete, you should accept our offerings. They are telling the Lord, you are complete. So complete person doesn't require anything, but you should accept our offerings, since we are following the path of Bhakti Yoga. That word comes as Anupathanam. We are following the path of Bhakti Yoga. So we have a trace of Bhakti. We are not full in our Bhakti, but we have a trace of Bhakti. So you please accept our offerings, though you are complete. Yes.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead has nothing to do with material perception. Even the impersonalist Shankaracharya says, Narayana Purovyaktat, Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is beyond material conception. We cannot concoct the form and attributes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We must simply accept the description given in the Vedic literatures about Lord's form and activities, as stated in a Brahma Samhita 5.29. Chintamani pragar sadma sukalpa vriksha lakshavrutishu surabhi ravipalayantam Lakshmi sahasrasata samrama sevyamanam Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, the first progenitor, who is tending the cows, yielding all desires in abodes built with spiritual gems and surrounded by millions of purpose trees. He is always served with a great reverence and affection by hundreds and thousands of goddesses of fortune. We can have some conception of the absolute truth, his form, and his attributes simply by reading the description given in the Vedic literatures and authoritative statements given by exalted personalities like Brahma, Narada, Shukdeva Goswami, and others. Srila Rupa Goswami says, Atha Shri Krishna Nabadi na bhave rayam indiye. We cannot conceive the name, form, and qualities of Sri Krishna through our material senses. Because of these, other names of the Lord are Adokshaja and Aprakrita, which indicate that he is beyond material senses. Out of his causeless mercy upon his devotees, the Lord appeared before Maharaj Nabi. Similarly, when we are engaged in the Lord's devotional service, the Lord reveals himself to us. Sevon mukhehi jivado swayameva spurtyadaha. This is the only way to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, Bhaktya mam abhijanati yaman yasyasmi tattvataha. One can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead through devotional service. There is no other way. We have to hear from authoritative and from the authorities and from the Shastras and consider that the Supreme Lord in terms of their statements. We cannot imagine or concoct forms and attributes of the Lord.
Yes, so that's why in our life we require a lot of guidance by devotees. This we do take in the beginning days, but as we progress to some seniority, after spending 10, 15, 20 years, then we feel now I know everything. Everything is there, known to me. So it should not be like that. Here it is so nicely said. When we are engaged in the Lord's devotional service, the Lord reveals himself to us. Seven Mukhe Jivado. This is the only way to understand the supremacy of Godhead. And as Prabhupada said towards the end, there is no other way. We have to hear from the authorities and from the Shastras and consider the Supreme Lord in terms of their statements. We cannot imagine or concoct forms and attributes of the Lord. So we many times eventually we become on mental platform. The intelligence is not very stout, strong. That's why feelings take over all our life, and we get so much carried away by so many things happening around. Oh, why did he say like that, and why that person did not do, and he should have behaved like this, he should not have spoken like that. So much mental platform, and the intelligence is not stout, strong, because we are not hearing from authorities, Guru, Sadhu, Shastra. And then about the Lord also, Lord's attributes. What is Lord doing? Then that also shows when we have disgust or we have disturbance in our life, thinking that this did not happen properly, that was not good, why that was said like that. So when we see this, that shows our incompleteness, that we are not able to see the Lord is acting through all these people around me. So then Lord's attributes are also being wrongly understood by us. We have misconceived Lord's attributes. That's what he's saying. Then the form also, we are not seeing properly, because we are not able to see how Vishwam Purna Sukhayate or Pratipadam Purnamrita Aswadanam. Swadu Swadu Pade Pade Susukam Kartum Avyam Anandam Buddhi Vadanam. This kind of feelings are not there. Rather, we are feeling, why not only outside world is miserable, within ISKCON also, within Brahmacharya Ashram also, it's all miserable place. Everywhere, all nothing is going properly. Why nothing is going properly? Because our intelligence is not stout and strong, and our mind is becoming very powerful, uncontrolled mind, and the mind says, "Yeah, this is not good. What to do? Nobody's proper here. All people are lazy. Others are crazy. Some are lazy, others are crazy, and huh? And rest are busy. Okay. Those who are not lazy and crazy, they are busy. So I cannot approach them. So So what to do? So one should be able to experience joy in Krishna consciousness. See, what these statements are, they reveal themselves. In fact, in the what we just now saw, in the 2 lines are coming from first verse of Chaitanya Shikshashtakam only. Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam Pratipadam Purna Amruta Asuna. At every step you have to be experiencing full nectar. And this nectar, Ambudhi, so oceanic, and the ocean should keep on increasing, expanding only. Atlantic Ocean, we know what it was yesterday. Today it has not increased. Tomorrow also it will not increase. It will be the same only. And over a period of time, it will start losing water also, evaporation. Then also water will be added in next rainy season, etc. Then also it is going to remain that same level only. It's not going to cross it. But this Ambudhi has to be increasing, ever expanding. Anandambudhi Vardhan. So why am I not having this experience, this realization in my life? That means something is wrong in my life. I can say, because this fellow is wrong, that fellow is wrong. He is not doing like that. Is very easy. Shifting blame to others is any Tom, Dicky, Harry can do. The whole world outside is doing that. Our greatness as devotees, practitioners is taking the blame on ourselves. So those who take blame on themselves, they are ideal practitioners. And then they know I am lacking in proper practice. So I should do this. So many things are told and they can be done, and I will be blissful because the process is blissful. So every moment it is blissful. Sadhu, sadhu, pade, pade. Yeah, my body may be miserable, body may be in trouble, health may be down, but I can be blissful because I'm not body, isn't it? Just like you are, just imagine all of us are going on express highway and you have to reach in Mumbai. Ideally supposed to reach, you want to reach in 3 hours, though generally it takes 3.5 hours. But let's say you want to reach in 3 hours only. There is something important there. And you are going with high speed and suddenly the tire is punctured. Thud. And you don't have Stephanie, let's say, something like that. Or at least even if it is there, it takes time, isn't it? How much time? At least 15 minutes, half an hour. So let's say even 20 minutes, you are suppose you want to reach before, and this is half an hour. Even if it's 20 minutes, you are desperate. How much frustrated you will be. So now you see your body is okay. Your head has no headache. Your stomach is okay. Prasadam is taken. Everything is proper only. Only what has happened? The car in which you are sitting, that has got some problem. But because we identify with the car, then we feel so much troubled. My God, what nonsense. How did this happen? And now what to do? You may chant that time because nothing else to do. Somebody else is changing the Stephanie. But you cannot chant properly. Yes, can't, so many things. So this is what is our problem. We are sitting on the vehicle of this body, but we think I am the body. That's why so many disturbances around or to this body, to this mind, subtle mind, intelligence, false ego, and we are disturbed. That same example, chariot and mind, that body. So we are charioteers, we have no problem. But unfortunately, because of identification, we are so much troubled. So we should not get into imagining all these things. We cannot imagine or concoct forms and attributes of the Lord. This statement always we should remember, that all sorts of incompleteness is experienced due to the incomplete understanding of the complete whole. I am not having full understanding of the complete whole. Even if I get Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav degree, Bhakti Vedanta degree also, with best of the mass, I was topper, that doesn't mean that I understood everything in Bhagavatam. That is just a superficial, some ways of checking, some superficial material things. And spiritual things are quite different from appearing for Bhakti Vaibhav classes, hearing them, giving exams, sloka recitation, and what n number of things within that. That will not lead to advancement in spiritual life. It will lead to when we have proper attitude. Yeah, I am here in these classes because my superiors want me to be. And I also understand Srimad Bhagavatam is non different from Krishna. Definitely, I will, as much as I respond with that enthusiasm, I will definitely get benefited. With that proper attitude, then revelation by the Lord will happen. Else, these kind of things can go on. For that matter, chanting also can go on. Namakshar bahu hai, naam nahi hoy. Counting can happen, chanting cannot happen. The heart is not involved there. Heart is given, is divided into so many material things, so many aspects of our existence, but not for spiritual life. Okay, then sixth one. O Supreme Lord, you are full in every respect. You are certainly very satisfied when your devotees offer you prayers with faltering voices, and in ecstasy bring you tulsi leaves, water, twigs bearing new leaves, and makes you satisfied. While reading, I was wondering how they are saying this. You're certainly very satisfied when your devotees offer you prayers with faltering voices. How many of us, in fact, even if there is some faltering voice, we all correct it and make it very melodious. This means very spiritual. Heart is filled with Krishna consciousness. Then faltering voices will come. Faltering voice will come. Shabala, he's saying, with a faltering voice. Shabala samshabda, with prayers. And also other nice words are there, like Durva Ankure, with newly grown grass. Durva word comes here. And with tulsi leaves, pigs bearing new leaves and newly grown grass. This surely makes you satisfied. The Prabhupada quotes Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam. Lord is satisfied with love and devotion. And with that, simple things he's saying, but most important ingredient is love and devotion. If you say what, a leaf, a flower, a fruit, nobody cares. If you go to flower market, people walk over hundreds of flowers there. They're all thrown here, there. There's no value to that. Similarly, if you go in sabji market, so many sabjis are lying here and there. We go in Harinam Sankirtan, we trample many sabji parts. Means not what he's selling. They themselves throw it so much on the ground because that is gone. They don't care for it, and we don't care for it. So these are not the ingredients which are important. Most important ingredient is love and devotion. The Supreme Lord can be pleased only by devotional service. So tulasi dalamatrena jalasya chulukena va vikrinite swamatmanam bhaktebhyo bhaktavatsala. When Advaita Acharya, seeing the situation of Navadvip and rest of the material world, how people were so materialistic, doing everything material very pompously, and no devotion for the Supreme. There were big scholars, Chattopadhyay, Mukhopadhyay, Bankopadhyay, but they were so expert in scriptures, they would speak from Bhagavad Gita Bhagavatam without uttering the word Krishna. They would avoid all the holy names of the Lord. They were so expert in their scholarship. And this situation of the world can be rectified only by the Supreme Lord himself, if he comes. But how to get him here from Vaikuntha? Not a joke. So he was going through different scriptures. Ultimately, in Gautamiya Tantra, he came across this verse, that if only one offers the Lord a palm full of water, Ganges water, and with tulsi leaves, then he gets sold out to the devotion of such a devotee, because Lord is Bhaktavatsala. And then he did that in Shantipur as well as in Navadvip, and Lord definitely came from Golok Vrindavan. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu time and time again say that I was peacefully sleeping in the Garbhodak Sagar, and you, Onara, you called me so loudly, so I had to come, and I came here. So Lord comes only by devotion. But here very nice words, as I said, that some shabda, shabala, faltering voices. Nayanam galadashrudharaya vadanam gadgadavruddhaya gira pulakairanichitam vapu kada tavanama grahane bhavishati. Sometimes we are leading kirtan, somehow there's some cough or something, that's voice goes. So we may ask for water beforehand, or if it has happened already, then some little not melodious voice came, then we ask for a glass of water, and we wish that that should not happen. But when we go in ecstasy, that's what will happen. Faltering voice, the voice will not be like coherent. In a sense, it will not be that melodious, because voice, throat is choked up with feelings. Heart is filled with feelings for Krishna, then throat will be choked, and that is the greatness of devotional service. But when will that happen? At least in current stage, when my voice goes little bad, then I feel I should drink water, and everybody should know I am a melodious singer. And that faltering voice should never falter. Voice should be perfect. Seventh, we have engaged in your worship with many things and have offered sacrifices unto you, but we think that there is no need for so many arrangements to please your lordship. Prabhupada in purport says, Rupa Goswami says that if one is offered varied foods but has no appetite, the offering has no value. If a big sacrificial ceremony, there may be, in a big sacrificial ceremony, there may be many things accumulated to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But if there is no devotion, attachment, or love for the Lord, the arrangement is useless. So, most important is that bhakti ingredient. The Lord is complete in Himself and He does not need anything from us. However, if you offer Him a little water, a flower, and a tulsi leaf, He will accept them. Bhakti devotional service is the main way to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is not a question of arranging huge sacrifices. The priests were regretful, thinking that they were not on the path of devotional service and that their sacrifice was not pleasing to the Lord. So that attitude is good. That they feel that this is all not required. Bhakti only is required. Bhakti tushyati madavaha natu gunai, something like that is said. You all know that famous shloka, that what was the wealth of Sudama, what was the paurusha, the manliness of Ugrasen, because his son only defeated him and put him behind the bars. Similarly, what was the beauty of Kubja? What was the intelligence of Gajendra? Because it's an animal after all. Like that, so many things are told, and ultimately it says Bhakti Tushyati Madhava Natu Gunai, something like that. Only devotional service pleases the Lord, not the qualities. All these people, in as per the qualities, they lacked qualities. Kubja lacked beauty, Sudama lacked wealth, and Ugrasen lacked manliness. So their qualities were not there, but bhakti was there. So bhakti alone is the topmost ingredient in the creation. And this is the only ingredient required to please the Lord. Nothing else is required. All other things are just a token of the gesture of the love within. Love within has to be expressed outside, without, in a particular way. That's why these things are mentioned. But most important is bhakti within. 8. All of life's goals and opulences are directly, self-sufficiently, unceasingly, and unlimitedly increasing in you at every moment. Indeed, you are unlimited enjoyment and blissful existence itself. As far as we are concerned, O Lord, we are always after material enjoyment. You do not need all these sacrificial arrangements, but they are meant for us so that we may be benedicted by your Lordship. All these sacrifices are performed for our fruitive results, and they are not actually needed by you. So they have used the word Bobhuyaman in the first line. So Jiva Goswami says, you are a form which manifests, that is Bobhuyaman, without break, avyatirekena. The Lord always exists and He has all these attributes with Him. Read the purport.
Being self-sufficient, the Supreme Lord does not need huge sacrifices. Fruitive activities for a more opulent life is for those who desire such material opulences for their interest. Yajnarthat karmanunetra lokoyam karma bandhanah. If we do not act to satisfy the Supreme Lord, we engage in Maya's
So
activities.
if you want, we underline that. Yahan Krishna tahan nahi Maya Radhikar. So anytime, anywhere, if we are doing that, which by that Lord is not satisfied, then that is for Maya's satisfaction only. It's Maya's activity.
We may construct a gorgeous temple and spend thousands of dollars, but such a temple is not required by the Lord. The Lord has many millions of temples for his residence, and he does not need our attempt. He does not require opulent activity at all. Such engagement is meant for our benefit. If we engage our money in constructing a gorgeous temple, we are freed from the reaction of our endeavor. This is for our benefit. In addition, if we attempt to do something nice for the Supreme Lord, He is pleased with us and gives us His benediction. In conclusion, the gorgeous arrangements are not for the Lord's sake, but for our own. If we somehow or other receive blessings and benediction from the Lord, our consciousness can be purified and we can become eligible to return home back to Godhead.
So that is not for Lord, but for us only, our benefit only. In Prahlad Maharaj's prayers also, there is one prayer. I'm not remembering the beginning. Yachatmani pratimukhasya yatha mukhashri. What is the beginning? Naivatmano prabhurayam nijalabha purno. Manam tan, manam tanoti. Just see. You can read the translation also. Manam tanoti. Ahead. Avidusho yajjano bhagavate vidadhitamanam yachatmani pratimukhasya yathamukhasya. Read the translation. Give him the mic. Mic you have only there. Very nice prayer.
The Supreme Lord, Supreme Personality of Godhead is always fully satisfied in himself. Therefore, when something is offered to him, the offering by the Lord's mercy is for the benefit of the devotee, for the Lord does not need service from anyone. To give an example, if one's face is decorated, the reflection of one's face in a mirror is also seen to be decorated.
So very nice concept and true. Nijalabha Purno. Lord has nothing to gain from anyone. He is full satisfied in himself. In fact, Lakshmis are also serving. He doesn't need Lakshmis also, but he accepts their loving devotion. But if we try to serve the Lord, we only get benefited. Just like if we decorate the face, automatically the pratibimba, the reflection in the mirror is automatically decorated. So we are like, as it is said in Jesus, in the Bible, man is made in the image of God. So if we satisfy the Lord, we will be satisfied like that. And also, if we are not satisfied in life, that means we have not satisfied the Lord. Lord is satisfied in himself. But because my endeavor is not enough or proper, that's why I'm feeling dissatisfied in my life. If I'm very clear, he is the one whose satisfaction will lead to my satisfaction automatically. Yatha tarora mula nishechanena trupyanti tatskanda bhujopashakha pranopaharasya yathendriyanam tathaiva sarvar hanamachyutejja. If the food is put in the stomach, all the limbs of the body are automatically nourished. Similarly, if the water is put at the root of the tree, all the twigs, branches, fruits, flowers, leaves, everything is satisfied. So similarly, Lord should be satisfied. So Lord, if satisfied, we automatically feel satisfied. Okay.
Like there is sometimes dissatisfaction due to the outcome which has come from service, or due to the
Outcome which has come from the service.
means service did not means some service did not happen properly. Some service did not happen
If we
properly,
did properly, then fine.
or the superior became displeased.
So why he became displeased, we should find out, ask him.
Yeah. So in that course, we become dissatisfied, or I got chastisement, or
Now his
some
satisfaction could be material, his dissatisfaction could be material dissatisfaction also. It should be very pure. He should be very transparent and all that. So if he's really exclusively working for Krishna's pleasure, and he wanted big, just like Prabhupada wanting in 2 months the whole Chaitanya Charitamrita to come out. Prabhupada is a pure devotee, and he also knew there are Westerners who are having so much strength. So he gave them a challenge. And it is for Krishna's sake, because Prabhupada has less time. He knew it all throughout. So he gave them challenge, and they worked on it, and Prabhupada was satisfied. But I also heard when the last volume came and Prabhupada was told, Prabhupada, so we have completed whole thing. Prabhupada said yes, but it was delayed by 3 days. The Prabhupada said yes, but still you are delayed by 3 days. One may say, the work which was supposed to go on in some 32 months or so has happened in just 2 months. Be happy na, just 3 days delay by you. No, Prabhupada said that how you can never say to your guru that you have accomplished, and no, you have to depend on his mercy only. So many things Prabhupada wanted to teach them. So that kind of superior is there, and who is focused on Lord's pleasure, then it is different. I'm not saying that all our superiors are, But if they may not be pure, but if their intentions are pure, and then they are frustrated, saying that what is this? You were falling short, you fell short. Then we may also feel, yeah, I'm such a. Then also we don't have to get what do you call that, inferiority complex, and then one should next time be more enthusiastic and try to increase one's capacity, work harder, and try to please. It should not lead to frustration in the mundane sense. Sometimes our superior, maybe his intention may not be so pure, and then he becomes frustrated because he cannot show now a big result to his superiors and in front of guru or somebody else. And then he scolds you, and then you feel he challenges your false ego. What is this? You said big words, you will do such big score, this and that. And what you did nothing. You are a muff, you are lazy, and all that. So our false ego also, what, then we also find out who is our younger devotee. We have to download, na, parampara. The whole thing like that. I have seen that in my life, it would happen. Whenever I was glorified, I would glorify the devotees below. Whenever I was chastised, I would chastise them. Whatever came from bottom, it all transferred below. And they understand. So all parampara, dasanu das. I am dasanu das, Prabhu is das, and some boss is above him also. So we should see that. We should not get materially frustrated at least. He may sometimes be, but we should keep ourselves steady. Sthita pragya is very difficult.
But Prabhuji, I have doubt that when we are having this outlook,
Which outlook?
like the superior, if he is not having the spiritual understanding and all this, so like how we can like we are in a junior level, better not to see what is his outlook. Means like
you may
not
see, but you
not-
don't speak about it, and you don't propagate about it. But it is very clearly seen because it is based on Guru Sadhu Shastra. And afterwards, he himself also confirmed that, sorry, I scolded you because I was not
but
in
it is
proper.
still it is making a malice in the heart and
No,
like saying
that is the expertise of devotional service and a devotee also. Just like I have always given example of potato you purchase, and in that one potato is rotten some part. You just take out that black portion, throw it out, and you peel off the remaining potato, cut it, and use it in sabji. That's not a problem. That black portion we just discard. Not that whole potato we throw away. That we never do. So that contamination should not be accepted. That's how Brahma also several times giving up his body. What is it? Did he die? Did he give up his gross body? What he gave up? The wrong mentality, the subtle body, the contamination. So when our superiors, they are there and some mistake happens, so we don't. Just like our superior, I'll do a gross example. While walking, he slipped. He got stuck in mat or something and he stuck. So he fell down. So we may hurry bol. We may try to help him. Or if you already fallen, then after fallen position, we may give help. But we cannot say that he never falls down. Yeah, he already fell down. If you think, yeah, I think I am wrong, he can, and he's saying, "Arey fellow, you pick me up." So you have to help him. So just like that, likewise, it is not, you don't have pure devotees as your superiors, and even if they are not pure, if they're acting purely, then it's fine. And some other things here and there that you should not take. That should be, and that Teji Asamna dosha, he is overall powerful, and this thing, that should not be taken seriously. Just like the moon has pock marks, but not that we keep speaking about it and say this is the problem in moon. That's why moon is bogus. One should never look at moon and never receive moonlight. That's not what we say. We don't talk about those pock marks, but they are there. So that's what you require, that strength.
There are two class of people. Like we have seen. I have seen some. Like, those who are like Teji Asam Nandana Dosham. This concept they always speak, and they say that there is no at all. There is not at all a
Flaw,
problem in the superior. There are the
so
superiors.
that's why when the superior commits some blunder and the whole world is blaming him and whatever, then these fellows are shocked. Or they may go to that extent of, we are still his followers.
It's like when I was the Corona time, like the calm, that time it was one superior was speaking about his superior, and he was proclaiming that it's just like that superior will not be having the corona at all. This is like it was a shock for me. It was like how it is like this. So like he may be having a high regards for his superiors, but it should be understood like that. Everybody is having the body and will be having suffering like that. So one part is that, and another part is like that time I was in a dilemma whether I can speak to him. This is like not like this.
Privately, you
like,
could speak to him.
but it is like always miss. Okay, my superior is always right and always good. That is a managerial part of that. Well, that is a devotional part of that. See, the on the devotional cadre where we are not finding, we are not supposed to find a fault in our spiritual master, or it is. But whenever the managerial superior comes, that time we have to see that he may be having a bad judgment or something like. But still we are just following. Like last time,
See,
we
in
were
public
having-
we follow, but whatever you have seen, which you seem know that for others it will not be good. You privately should go and tell. You should have the guts that Prabhu, I accept you. You are my superior. It's all nice, but I felt as per this idea that you gave, that should not be implemented. Else, this will be the outcomes and all. Then how devotees may be troubled and all. That's not in my vision. After all, you are senior. You may decide. You are in authoritative position also. Like that, you should be able to forget it also. You did your duty. Not that, oh, how can I tell him? After all, he's my superior, he's my counselor, he's this, he's that. That is okay. In public, we don't say all that. But in private, you should have the guts to speak. If you don't have guts, then there is a problem with you. And after telling, if you are not able to forget, you told everything. You are not able to forget, then there is another problem with you. So basically, you cannot be in passion, you cannot be in ignorance. You have to be in goodness only. In person in goodness, he can see, he is in knowledge, he sees, and then he has the right way of telling also to whosoever it is required to be told. Not everyone, anyone, or everyone who could do nothing about it. And then after telling, now you have told the whole thing. Now it's very clear. Then up to him, then you forget it.
So that's why in the first lecture where Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur Pad was saying that whatever the superior is telling, even if it is not conducive for the devotional service, one
Yeah,
has to
it is
follow.
personally. That's what you should tell. No, this is my opinion. But when he says, no, I want you to do, then you should do. That is personally. But when it is coming to all the devotees who may suffer, then you have the right to tell also. Like that.
But when the doubt comes, how we can fully follow?
Fully follow.
Means like when the doubt is
If
there
you are
on the
very much in
statement.
doubt, you are not clear, then you should approach some other superior. Because that superior only you have problem with, it means you have difficulty with, and you cannot approach him. So you should approach some other superior. Then it will be clear to you. These are two different scenarios. That is about yourself only. That's why I give the example of that shooting. Like that. Okay.
Guruji, whenever like we get chastisement from superior, so we should download it to juniors.
No, we should not. I told my wrong behavior. I did not say that, this is perfect behavior. I was so transparent. Whatever came, I just gave. That was my defect. That was my defect. That is in, it's like somebody, whatever might the reason, I don't know what, but then I became frustrated. That means ignorance. So in ignorance, I'm just downloading on him who is innocent fellow. He doesn't even know what happened above. And I just give him all that thrashing and all that. And he's very humble. So he makes advancement. And my doing all this, I will certainly be punished by Krishna. And my superior, if he was at fault, he will also be punished by Krishna when he downloaded the things on me. So like that. So we should not download. We should only download mercy. Always, whether you receive it or not. But certainly at least when you receive. Sometimes chastisement could also be a part of that mercy only. So that can also be downloaded, but requires proper discretion. It should not be because you are in passion or you are in ignorance. You're in goodness, then you can chastise the people below you when they are at fault. Not that when I was at fault, I was chastised, so now is the time I should download. No, not now. When he goes at fault, you may. And not for out of envy, only to help him become better devotee as an offering to Guru Parampara. Not because I was chastised, so I chastise you, or because you are disobedient to me. Transparency is very much important in Guru Parampara. So those who are pure devotees or pure representatives of the pure devotees, they are transparent. So they can chastise. And that chastisement will not lead to some devastation. It will lead to proper advancement in spiritual life. Because it is not done out of malice. Got the whole thing. Okay. So ninth one. Already 12:05. So we'll meet after 10 minutes. We'll break here. We'll meet after 10 minutes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Of superior. My superior can never be wrong. So sometimes it could be ignorant follower, disciple. Like one particular guru's elderly, so then naturally bodies have some problem. So then it was recommended that massage is required for his body. That is correct. But then there were some enemies of ISKCON and of that particular powerful guru who was doing powerful revolution in the impious life of people. So there were some enemies who sent a very young, beautiful, Christian nurse, and she would come quite scantily dressed. And massage, she's a massager. She will be giving. So then when she would come, then she would be received by disciples because she's going to assist Guru Maharaj body and all. And then she would go inside the room. She would latch it from inside. Only inside the room, the Guru is there and she is there. And she's already scantily dressed. And she was trained also by the enemies. So she, in massaging, one can do massage in such a way. Anyway, female doing male one thing. And in that also, massage also can be done in such a way that one can be sexually agitated. So the Guru lost control. And the disciples every day or whatever times of the day she would come and they were watching this, but then they did not object. Then Guru Maharaj is always beyond all the three modes. Yeah, he may be, but such kind of scenario, at least one disciple could be inside, some Prabhu or something. Then she will not be able to do all that thing. Now, then that Guru is no more a Guru in ISKCON. He lost such a powerful personality, but because of the enemies or whatever the reasons you say. But this is not the way the disciples should be. So disciples may be very ignorant sometimes. They may not understand. And they may say, Guru may be, but as I said, he can be agitated. He can be taken away from the path by some enemies' strategies and etc. So one has to be careful also. That's why ISKCON has introduced ombudsman. Like when very senior devotees are there and something about them is the juniors are confused, because they are teji asana dosha hai. And should not see fault. So I should not see fault. I may commit offense. I may destroy my devotional service. That fear may be there. But then still something fishy is watching is visible. So that's why we have ombudsman. We can just call him and say, no, this is something like this is happening. I'm not sure what it is. If you could, Prabhu, and that person is very senior person. We have in ISKCON, I think, two ombudsman. One is our Brajabihari Prabhu, American bodied. The he was about to get initiated by Prabhupada, but Prabhupada left body, so he took from some other guru in ISKCON, but he's very senior devotee. His wife is disciple of His Holiness Radhana Swami Maharaj, Anand Vrindavanesh Mataji, if I'm not wrong. She was the headmaster of Gurukul in Vrindavan earlier. And one more is, I'm not sure who is he. One more is there, I think. But the ombudsman's role is that he can do that. Otherwise, the disciples will think everything Guru does it transcendental. And then the Guru may fall down also. So that is one side, extreme. Other extreme is then always doubting Guru. This Guru may fall down anytime. So that could be wrong also. That's why ombudsman is good in case it's a big problem related with many other devotees. If it's your own personal problem, better go to some superior and find out how to see this activity of spiritual master. I am confused and all that. They can clarify. If they require some correction, they will do whatever. We can't understand sometimes, but some immediate superiors not so difficult to understand. And still we remain humble with them. As far as personal life, we accept it. And as far as others, then we may be concerned and we may approach some other superiors because we are concerned of so many other devotees getting affected by that. Personal life, even if we feel that this is not correct for me, one can accept it. If it is not going against the rules and regulations given by acharyas. It is personal life, what you call practical life, some details. We may feel, no, this is not proper. Like I may be told, don't serve in this department. You are doing for so many years, decades, but no, you better serve in that department. So it's my personal thing. I may feel not so good. Better I do in this only. I have done so many things here. So better accept his decision, which is only affecting your life, and that also not affecting in a sense that you are going to stop 16 rounds or you're breaking 4 regular none of those things. This is just some. Take the mic.
Can we apply for these personalities? That is for extremely elevated personalities like Brahma, etc. And
No, for these people also, as much as the devotee is strong in his devotional life, as much as his heart is for Krishna, that much we are not supposed to see faults in him. That's why, see, that's why it requires Tita Pragya only. You have to be at least in the mode of goodness to be able to judge yourself. Otherwise, as he said, sometimes the superior may be perfect and you may wrongly misjudge him, accusing him and blaspheme him in the mind. You may be wrong. Or sometimes he may be wrong and you are thinking, as he said, that senior can never get corona. So that is
so
another extreme.
So as you were mentioning that, okay, the superior may be rightly situated, but some portion may be wrong.
So that much we don't take it.
So we have to acknowledge that.
Acknowledge means it's
we
not
have
like,
to
we get carried away by that. That is just a detail. Just like, a superior may be short in height.
Yeah.
Or he may not have one limb, one finger may be missing, or he may be blind by one eye. So these things should not be.
I am not talking about this. When it comes to, like, for example, superior may be just oriented about getting fruitive means results. So now we understand that devotional service, one should not be simply focused about getting results. So now if you see that such aspects, so we understand that we have to means take into consideration such.
No, see, just like, Prabhupada said, double it. Whatever book distribution you do, Prabhupada said double it. So now our superior also may say, what, you did last year 1,000 books. Now you do 1.5 thousand books, something like. He may not tell double. So we should understand this is Prabhupada's thing only. Now my superior may not be completely pure like Prabhupada, but it is coming down the line. So it may be material pressure on him because he's president or he's department head, book distribution department head, who is always asked, so what? You did only 4 lakhs last year, now make it 5 lakhs. Every year, 1 lakh increasing. But we should accept it. Okay, fine. So you want me to distribute 1.5? I'll try my best. And you may try. By Krishna's grace, you may distribute why 1.5, you may distribute 2,000, 3,000 also. Or sometimes it may be 1.5, less than 1.5 also. You tried your best, fine. And then you may be accused, what is this? You were already told 1.5, you had accepted the target. You can say, I tried my best. My goal was at least 1.5, but whatever. And next time we'll try. Like that, you should be always very sportive, always enthusiastic, not getting carried away. What, he doesn't see my endeavor only. Are kitna, kitna kiya humne. Then he never asked me what I did last 1.5 months, how much I was toiling, sweating. That he doesn't directly comes to result. It's very fruitive. Like that, we don't have to necessarily get it into that. You should be very sportive. Cut. You should, like as if your mind is dead. Feeling should not be there. That kind of approach is required. Intelligence is always active. And you say, okay, sorry, Prabhu, we endeavored, but you feel that was less, no problem. We'll try. And all that emotional, all that we feel, that for that we should have some friend, equal or somebody, who says, okay, don't worry, don't worry. Understand? Somebody, if you feel the emotional support, then there should be somebody for you. For husband, wife is there in Grihastha life. For Brahmachari life, we should have some equal, 1, 2. One is enough. He can solace. No, don't worry, bro. I was also chastised, but I told him that I will do next time. Like that. Isn't it? But a principle should be understood properly and should be applied also properly. Either you could commit offenses or you will feel cheated. Kya, kaise superior hai ye? So both should be active simultaneously. I have seen my superiors committing mistake also, And I never got carried away. So I never thought, oh, I should change this superior. No. That part he himself came to know and he corrected, fine. Why should I worry? It was nothing to do about my life. And even if it was about my life, fine. It's like a family life, you know. So my brother, elder brother, while guiding me, may commit some mistakes. Fine. Not a problem. His intention might not be, intention was not wrong.
But
But
then
some
in this situation, you may not have absolute faith in that person.
But I have absolute faith in Guru Parampara and Krishna. All sorts of incompleteness is experienced due to the incomplete understanding of the complete whole. Krishna only is there. Na matta smrutir jnanam apanamcha. How did he get that idea from to guide me? He got by his own. He cannot get any idea. He's blank. He cannot get. Krishna only guided him. So Krishna had some plan for me, some purification. Fine. Okay. Just like, don't feel bad, but his holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj, you know, he was not for all this going to hospital, getting needles. So many times in his lectures, he has spoken all that. But when he got corona, when he went to West, then all the God brothers said, Maharaj, please don't be firm on that. Please accept to be in the hospital. And he went in the hospital, and we all know what all happened in 10-15 days matter, isn't it? So now we cannot say, you know, how Bhakti Charu Maharaj will think, Are, come on, I was always correct only. I always did not want to go to hospital. Prabhupada said, never take me in hospital. He did not say all that. This is Krishna's desire. Krishna knows. In fact, before even going to West, when in Ujjain only so many devotees were saying, why go to, you know, or Orlando? In this case, when Corona is so high, COVID is troubling. Maharaj said, Maharaj was, he had got call from Prabhupada. So he was firm on going. So we cannot just say, you know, this is all because all God brothers, you know, because of him. No, you cannot say like that. It's Krishna's plan. He knew it. If at all he wanted to stop, he would have, you know, he would not have arranged only that visit. And even after tickets were booked, he could have cancelled it. But he knew it. So this thing should not be taken in that way. That all God brothers were wrong. Or were all God brothers of Bhakti Charu Maharaj wrong? No, they had good intention. That, you know, Corona is very deadly disease. At being at home, it cannot be cured. Better at hospital. You know, so they had that good intention. But so this is a very nice case, I believe, where we all understand everybody's intentions were pure. But the things were, he had to leave the body that time anyhow. So this is how Krishna arranged. Fine. Anyway, it's very deep subject matter, and we'll go ahead with this syllabus completing is more important, at least from the top. So you also know I have some pressure from top. So don't feel bad if you feel me behaving little wrongly. That is because of the pressure from the top. Other personally, I can talk to you on this subject matter for all hours. Anyway, you will not be there after 1:45. Prabhu, you have a lot of things to say, but our time is over. Officially, our time is over. Unofficially, you may be always enthusiastic, but we cannot be like that. Okay, so 9th. O Lord of Lords, we are completely ignorant of the execution of dharma, artha, kama, and moksha, the process of liberation, because we do not actually know the goal of life. You have appeared personally before us like a person soliciting worship, but actually you are present here just so we can see you. You have come out of your abundant and causeless mercy in order to serve our purpose, our interest, and give us the benefit of your personal glory called apavarga, liberation. You have come although you are not properly worshipped by us due to our ignorance. So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, you have appeared like a person curious to see the sacrifice. Sometimes we are also curious, isn't it? When big sacrifice, we also want to see what is that and all that. So like that, it appears, you appeared like a person curious to see the sacrifice, since we do not have bhakti. We do not have bhakti. So it appears that you have come for, but Lord has no interest to see the yajna. So many yajnas are happening all over. So in the purport, Prabhupada says Lord Vishnu was personally present at the sacrificial arena, but this does not mean that he had any interest in his own personal benefit. Similarly, the Archa Vigraha, the deity in the temple, is present for the same purpose. Out of his causeless mercy, the Supreme Personality of Godhead presents himself before us so that we can see him. Since we have no transcendental vision, we cannot see the spiritual Satchidananda Vigraha of the Lord. Therefore, out of his causeless mercy, he comes in the form we can see. We can only see material things like stone and wood, and therefore he accepts the form of stone and wood and thus accepts our service in the temple. This is an exhibition of the Lord's causeless mercy. Although he has no interest in such things, in order to receive our loving service, he agrees to act as he does. We cannot actually offer suitable paraphernalia for the Lord's worship because we are completely ignorant. It was out of his causeless mercy that the Lord appeared in the sacrificial arena of Maharaj Nabi. So the most important thing in deity worship is to pass on the whole service, whatever you do, whether you are doing dressing, you are doing deity, you are doing worship, or bhoga cooking, anything it is, whether inside the altar, outside, behind the altar, is all through Guru I am transferring. Guru will offer this arti, Guru will dress the Lord, Guru will do everything. I am just an assistant. Sri Vigraharadhana Nitya Nana Shringara Tanmandira Marjanadao Yuktasya Bhaktamscha Niyunjatopi Vande Guruho Shri Charanaravindam. So Guru only does everything. Sri Vigraha Aradhan. He worships the deities. Nana Shringar. All varieties of Shringar, decorations of the Lord, dressing, etc. Tat Mandira Marjanado. And their lordships, Mandir cleaning, etc. All altar inside, backside, front, temple hall. He only does everything. But the second part is for us. Yuktasya. He engages his disciples. Yuktasya Bhaktam Niyunjatopi. He engages his disciple. That is what he has done. I'm very grateful for having received service. So let me assist him. He does everything. So that mode will help. Otherwise, Lord doesn't require any of our dressing and all that. In my experience of deity worship long before, was that the way Lord wanted to dress, that is how it came. And I had planned this way it should be, but then it did not come up that way. It came in some different way only. So whatever it came, that's how he wanted. And he sees your desire. If he is a very strong, very sincere desire, then it will come out in that way. But ours is only desire, everything else is Lord's only. That is 9th. Then 10th. O most worshipable of all, you are the best of all benefactors. And your appearance at Saintly King Nabhi's sacrificial arena is meant for our benediction. Because you have been seen by us, you have bestowed upon us the most valuable benediction. Okay, so in the purport, Prabhupada says, you may read the purport. As such, time is there, so we are reading. Otherwise, sometimes we go very fast.
Nija Purusha, Ikshana Vishaya. In Bhagavad Gita 9.29, Krishna says, Sammoham Sarva Bhuteshu. I envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone. I am equal to all, but whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I am also a friend to him. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is equal to everyone. In that sense, he has no enemies and no friends. Everyone is enjoying the fruitive reactions of his own work, and the Lord within everyone's heart is observing and giving everyone the desired result. However, just as the devotees are always anxious to see the Supreme Lord satisfied in every way, similarly, the Supreme Lord is very anxious to present himself before his devotee. Sri Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 4.8, Paritranaye sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkrutam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. To deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to reestablish the principles of religion, I advent myself millennium after millennium. Thus, Krishna's appearance is for the deliverance and satisfaction of his devotees. Actually, he does not advent himself simply to kill the demons, for that can be done by his agents. Lord Vishnu's appearance at the sacrificial arena of Maharaj Nabhi was just to please the king and his assistants. Otherwise, there was no reason for his being present there.
So just like devotees want to please the Lord, Lord also wants to reciprocate and want to please them. So he has come for that reason. Vishnu Jagdev Thakur says, you appeared in the king's sacrifice. That itself is the greatest benediction. So what more to ask? Lord's appearance itself is enough. But anyway, they will tell also, why did we worship you? 11th. So in this 9th and 10th, he is talking about, you have mercifully appeared before us, that is fools, only for our benefit. 11th. Dear Lord, all the great sages who are thoughtful and saintly persons incessantly recount your spiritual qualities. These sages have already burnt up all the unlimited dirty things and by the fire of knowledge strengthened their detachment from the material world. Thus they have attained your qualities and are self-satisfied. Yet, even for those who feel spiritual bliss in chanting your attributes, your personal presence is very rare. Read the purport.
The priest in Maharaj Nabhi's sacrificial arena appreciated the personal presence of the Supreme Lord Vishnu, and they considered themselves very obliged. The Lord's appearance is rare even for great saintly persons who have become completely detached from this material world, and those hearts are clean due to constantly chanting the glories of the Lord. Such people are satisfied by chanting the transcendental qualities of the Lord. The Lord's personal presence is not actually required. The priests are pointing out that the Lord's personal presence is very rare even for such elevated sages, but that he was so kind to them that now he was personally present, and therefore the priests were very much obliged.
So he says the Lord's appearance is very rare even for great saintly persons who have become completely detached from this material world. That means completely detached devotees, also saints, and whose hearts are clean due to constantly chanting the glories of them. Even for them, it is very rare. So for us, how can we have? So one thing we understand, Lord's presence is very rare, not some ordinary thing. And second, also these devotees have that they acknowledge the glories of who gets the presence of the Lord. So they are quite humble in their approach. And after all, King Nabi is there, who is a devotee of the Lord. So Lord has come, Lord has desired to appear in his dynasty. So he says 11th is your darshan is very rare. 12th. This is famous verse, but it's in prose. All these verses are in prose. These are prayers, but all in prose. Very rare like that. In fact, acharyas also have said these prayers in prose. The prose part is highlighted because these are all prose. But this one is very special. You can repeat after me. Katha atha kathanchit skalana shutpatanam jrumbhana duravasthanadishu विवशानां नः स्मरणाय ज्वरमरणदशायामपि सकल सक सकलकल्मषनिरसनानि तव गुणकृतनामधेयानि वचनगोचराणि भवन्तु. Meaning you must have heard earlier many times. Dear Lord, we may not be able to remember your name, form, and qualities due to stumbling, hunger, falling down, yawning, or being in a miserable diseased condition at the time of death when there is a high fever. We therefore pray unto you, O Lord, for you are very affectionate to your devotees. Please help us remember you and utter your holy names, attributes, and activities which can dispel all the reactions of our sinful lives. At the time of death, there is high fever. Our Neil Sundar Pro can guide. How much? General maximum, how much? 107? That is death only. 1056 means death. Doesn't go. So 104 is okay. Okay. 105. So like that. So fever goes very high. So like that. So we have sometimes our fever comes na? And then goes 101, 102, 3. As it goes 1 degree, their tension increases. 104 is okay, he's saying. Okay means okay means he's not dead. Huh? He is beyond bodily concept, but on us he should not apply those rules. But up to 104, okay, he's alive at least. 105 means or 6 finish. So it's very high fever, and in that case, if the death is because of one of these reasons, stumbling, hunger, falling down, yawning or something, so that time it's very difficult to remember the Lord. All of us must have experienced whenever we underwent some short time high misery, like sleeping or something. It's very short, quick. Within 5-10 seconds only you may slip. That time it is not easy to remember Krishna. How many of you experience something like that? I'm saying, I'm just giving example of one slipping like that, So you go blank. Our only consideration is how to catch something, whether something is there or not. Else, maybe death only. So the Lord's thought is not so easy. And we can see when we are hell and healthy, we are not able to think of Lord. How at the time of death would it be possible? So that's why a lot of practice is required. Unlimited practice. As such, practice of many lifetimes. But Prabhupada is giving guarantee in this one life only you practice, as I'm saying, 16 rounds of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. 16 good rounds. That is very important. Recently, His Grace Sankrishna Adhikari Prabhu, I think in Brahmachari class, when asked, or he only said, I chant 16 rounds. That means Prabhu doesn't chant, means he may be chanting. In the mind, he must be always chanting, but externally, he chants only 16 rounds. Some of us are chanting more round. Good. But at least 16 good rounds. What we do, most of us, fortunately, in the morning, in the temple hall with devotees, nothing like that. That could be most vibrant, holy chanting rounds. So that should be done very nicely and follow the 4 regulative principles and render service to the best of your capacity, ability. Prabhupada said, you do this, then you will definitely go back to order. And Prabhupada says, I have one audio clipping in that he says, 50 years are good enough. 50 years, 50. More than enough, he says. That means around 46, 47 years at least, we should be chanting 16 rounds. And obviously following morning program and things like that, what is expected of us, then definitely we'll go back to God in this very life. But sometimes to remain so far, so long, people get discouraged for whatever reasons. But that is good. And Prabhupada says also, you all are young, you are in your 20s, and supposing that you will live up to 70 years age, so 50 years you will be alive. And in that you will do devotional, you will go. Prabhupada disciples we can see also. They almost became devotees at the age of 20, approximate. And they are now there. Some have left bodies earlier, but they are there in their 70s. So 50 years they have practiced, and this is good enough. Steadily they have practiced. I read the purport.
The real success in life is Ante Narayana Smriti, remembering the holy name, attributes, activities, and form of the Lord at time of death. Although we may be engaged in Lord's devotional service in the temple, material conditions are so tough and inevitable that we may forget the Lord at the time of death due to diseased condition or material derangement. Mental condition.
Mind will be not in control.
Therefore, we should pray to the Lord to be able to remember His lotus feet without fail at the time of death, when we are in such a precarious condition. In this regard, one may also see Srimad Bhagavatam 6.2.9 to 10 and 14 to 15.
So you may open that. So we'll read that also. So he, His Holiness Navakandra Maharaj says that one song, I think. Itana to karna swami, jab pran tan se nikle, गोविंद का नाम लेकर मेरे प्राण तन से निकले, है कि नहीं? So that is our desire also, that at the time of death, okay, I may not be able to remember, I may not be able to speak it out, maybe remembrance if Lord gives, and Krishna will give. He says, yam yam vapi smaram bhavam tejati ante kalevaram tam tam evati konte sada tad bhava bhavita. Next one, antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram yah prayati Chamad Bhavam Yati Nasti Atra Sanchaya. So for Antakal, the law of last thought is whatever you remember throughout life, that's what you will remember. at the time of death. Just like we know that man who was cloth merchant, and he was very addicted, attached, and all that. He became very old, handed over the business to children, grown up sons, but still he was very attached. So children were all the time, Baba, you go, you don't worry, and this, that. But ultimately, after a lot of pushing with one, somebody was going for yatra. So he went to Varanasi after Kashi Vishwanath temple. He went Dashashwamedh Ghat. Next, he saw Manikarnika Ghat. And there so many dead bodies were coming there, one after other, hundreds, and daily being burnt and all that. And that sadhu with whom he had gone was told that this fellow is very attached. So hope some renunciation comes. So that time he started crying. Crying. And so what happened? He said, I did a big mistake in my life. I wasted my life. Yeah. Tell more. Yeah, actually, whole life I was into this clothes business and all that. After that, money and all that, I committed a big mistakes. Yeah. Tell more. He said, I should have done wood selling business. It's a evergreen business. Cloth is sometimes Diwali, Dasara people purchase, but wood is evergreen because people all the time die. I would have made much more profit. So Sadhu said, oh, same. So because throughout life he was into business, money and all. So even at the last fag end of his life, by seeing Manikarnika Ghat, what effect it had. And, completely unimaginable effect. So this is what happens. So, but we are very fortunate. We are allowed, at least as brahmachari, we can stay in temple. We have morning program, classes, and so much time, free time to chant. I remember once, a few years back, his Guru Radhesham Prabhu said that if some brahmachari wants to chant daily 64 rounds, we are happy and we'll adjust his services if he feels the services are too many. Isn't it? Did he only make that statement? He only made, no? Yeah, so if any one of you wants to chant 64 rounds daily and you feel the services are too many, I'm not able to. So there will be some concession given to you also. So you can do the highest service of chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, 64 rounds daily, 7 to 8 hours. And you can also pray for us. Some quota you can give us. We are fallen. I am fallen soul. I'm not able to chant 64. So if anybody is eager, you are most welcome. You're most welcome to approach him like that. Everybody are fearful. Some other purification, quick purification may happen, which I'm scared of. I want a prolonged period of purification. How much is this information true? It is true. So many devotees have heard. Okay, so Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says about this one, even if we have unsteady, dull minds, let us think of you. So how humble they are. This humility is very appealing to the Lord, very pleasing to him. So Acharya has said that means this was their thinking. That even if we have unsteady, dull minds, let us think of you. We know this is the most important thing. This is the goal. But we are not able to. It's particular this kind of situation, stumbling, hunger. I have seen this hunger and all that. So much tormenting. After I underwent treatment, hunger, then I met His Holiness Prabodhan Saraswati Maharaj. So Maharaj asked him in his room, sannyasi room. So he asked, so how is your treatment? I said this, okay. Then I said, Maharaj, I feel very hungry. So you feel hungry? Then that is good. I said, Maharaj, I feel unbearably hungry. It's like the whole world comes to an end only. So Maharaj was very happy, it seems. But I was not happy about that hunger. So hunger comes, then we cannot think of Krishna so well like that. Maybe you have good experience on that. Pandav Nirjala Ekadashi. Basically, engagement is required. Then hunger will not trouble. Falling down. I slipped from that Radha Vrindavan, the first step in February. First step, I completed rounds early. This was in February, I think. And it was a little dark. Some lights were there. You have in ceiling lamps, but not much. But somehow, Krishna's arrangement. First step only I slipped. And then second, third, fourth, all the ages only I was touching. Second, third, fourth, fifth, somewhere at sixth or seventh, then the whole step was used as a brick. And I was trying to catch something so that my head doesn't fall on back and instant death doesn't occur. But fortunately that way I did not fall. But this leg only gave a break, and I, with the force, I sat down on the, it gave a jerk to the buttocks, and a hand touched very forcefully. The hand only got what they call locked, cramped, or whatever. Then I had to go several times to that orthopedic and what they call physiotherapist, like that. And then they further they do all that. So it's very difficult. I would say that time I was as I remember, when I was coming out of temple hall, I was singing Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Vrindavana. That song was proceeding, and suddenly the sleeping began. Tha, tha, tha. Then forget that song stopped, and no Radha, no Krishna, no Vrindavan, no Gopinath, nothing. Only some bar or something. That also nothing came in hand. And then only when I sat down, then I thought, oh, I just escaped death by Krishna's grace, like that. So it's very difficult when you are young, youthful. I know old devotees, quite sometimes they fall down because the body doesn't have strength. And I think His Grace Sankashada Adhikari Prabhu also, Sridhar Prabhu was telling me, it seems at least once he fell down. He got whatever the epilepsy or something, giddiness, and collapsed. So in old age, it is all the more difficult. How many of you have perceived the old age in your body setting in slowly? We are not very old. Yeah. Huh? Hair becoming gray. That is not a big issue. It's a mental problem, but physically we do face difficulties. Teeth become a little loose, eyesight going down, maybe hearing, and so many other things, inside problem. What in youthful days we were very easily able to do, now it is not that. Maybe dancing. How many of you seen in Kirtan dancing? You are not able to exert as much as earlier. Yeah, earlier it was no exertion in one sense. We just blissful. Now it's every step is calculated step, kind of. Now we have to think. Even if you are dancing, maybe थोड़ा 15-20 मिनट आराम करना पड़ेगा बाद में, हो सकता है. So these are all difficult situations, but we can pray to Lord. That He also says in 15th verse of Sri Shopnishad, Hiranmayena patrena satyasyapi hitam mukham tattvam pushan apavrunu satya dharmaya drushe. Now this one, I think. The other one. What is that? You can tell. In the mic is next to you. Kritasmara, samsmara, krita. Or tell the meaning. If you don't.
Whatever austerities I have done, oh Lord, please remember. Please remember. Before at the time of death.
And please give me your remembrance.
Remembrance.
Yeah. So means we may not say like that, but we do austerities in our life, so that Lord will recognize, okay, for me you did so much throughout life. Don't worry, my dear devotee. I will come to you to rescue you, take you across this Bhavasagar. Lord will definitely do that. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. Those are always engaged and engaged with love. For them, I give the intelligence by which they can come to me. So this is literally so at the time of death. That is the time when we will have the chance, because we are out of the body. No more question of entering in that body again. We'll get out of the body. Next body we may enter, or we can enter in Golok Vrindavan. Yenamam upayantite, by which they can come to me. So that intelligence Krishna is only going to give. It is not in our hand. He says, I will give the intelligence by which they can come to me. But for that, we have to engage all throughout our life and engage with love. Quantity throughout, quality with love. These two things, quantity and quality, you take care. Krishna will take care of the rest. He will definitely give us his remembrance. Though materially, it is impossible to think of Krishna at the time of death. No matter how we die, whether while stumbling, hunger, falling down, yawning, this we don't know what will be the condition. But remembrance is definite if we do these things, two things only. Throughout life, engaged in Krishna's service, and all those engagements are with love. Then Krishna's promise is there. Okay, so 13th. Dear Lord, here is the great King Nabhi, whose ultimate goal in life is to have a son like you. Your Lordship, his position is like that of a person approaching a very rich man and begging for a little grain. Maharaj Nabhi is so desirous of having a son that he is worshipping you for a son. Although you can offer him any exalted position, including elevation to the heavenly planets or liberation back to Godhead. So they are also acknowledging that we could have asked for that. So Jiva Goswami says, They are informing him of the facts out of great intimacy. They have intimacy with the Lord. They're directly telling, he is, you can avoid liberation, you can give entrance in Golok Vrindavan, Vaikuntha, but he is worshipping you for a son. So he's saying they are informing him of the facts out of great intimacy. However, he is not so foolish. Who? The king. He, instead of liberation or Vaikuntha, he is asking for a son. However, he is not so foolish since he wants a son like you. So this is great. Not that he just wants a son. Just like Chitraketu wanted just a son. There are no question of son like Krishna or something. So here he is not foolish because he wants a son like you. So that's why he is not so foolish. Some foolishness may be there, but he's not so foolish also, they are saying. And Vishwanath Thakur says, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, though he can get a son by worshipping Devtas, he worships only you. He is fixed on begetting a son, not on liberation. That is his foolishness. Desiring a son, he worships you. See his stubbornness. So both sides are there. But they are glorifying also that he could have worshipped demigods. Demigods can also give son. But they are worshipping, he is worshipping you. Okay, read the purport.
Priests were a little ashamed that King Nabi was performing a great sacrifice just to ask the Lord's benediction for a son. The Lord could offer him promotion to the heavenly planets or the Vaikuntha planets. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has taught us how to approach the Supreme Lord and ask him for the ultimate benediction. He said, Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitam va jagadisha kamaye. He did not want to ask the Supreme Lord for anything material. Material opulence means riches, a nice family, a good wife, and many followers. But an intelligent devotee doesn't ask the Supreme Lord for anything material. His only prayer is, Mama Janmani Janmani Ishwari Bhavtat Bhakti Ahituki Tvai. He wants to be engaged perpetually in the loving service of the Lord. He does not want promotion to the heavenly planets or mukti, liberation from material bondage. If this were the case, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would have not said, Mama Janmani Janmani. It doesn't matter to a devotee whether or not he takes birth life after life as long as he remains a devotee. Actually, eternal liberty means returning home back to Godhead.
Next lines you may underline.
A devotee is never concerned about anything material. Although Nabi wanted a son like Vishnu, wanting a son like God is also a form of son gratification. A pure devotee wants only to engage the Lord's loving service.
So sometimes we may want son, like many grihasthas, sometimes they openly tell also, for getting a son, we are praying always to the Lord. I have heard these statements from grihasthas like that, we were doing this, we were doing that, like that. So, but that is not considered very special. It could be sense gratification only. Lord so wants, he may give us a son, daughter, or whatever, child. Sometimes there may not be any child only. But Nabi Maharaj wanted a son like Vishnu, wanting a son like God is also a form of sense gratification. A devotee never is concerned about anything material. So nothing we want. We want only loving service of the Lord. So we should get fixed up in this understanding. And association of devotees helps us. Just like all of us before coming to Krishna consciousness might have had so many ambitions in life, isn't it? How many of you had some ambition and then after coming to devotee that whole ambition only changed? Yeah, I know one NIT Warangal devotee. So his ambition was to become IAS officer. So many, after shifting to voice also, youth center, so many times he would tell. And every time Rajesh Amru would come, I would introduce him. And Rajesh Amru said, yeah, you can become IAS officer. In fact, that will be very helpful for us and all that. But over a period of time, because he stayed for 6 semesters, by the time he passed out, he was not talking about becoming IAS officer. I don't know what happened. Whether the desire went away or he understood humbly. Because of humble devotees association, he might have understood. I think I'm not so fit to be so highly elevated IAS officer. So, but he did, I think, PhD or something. At least did not go for IAS. So many ambitions we might have had, but in the association of devotees, our ambitions changed. Our lifestyle changed. Our speech changed. So many things changed. Hi, hello, chedo. Hare Krishna bolo. Isn't it? So many complete, what you call, internal, external transformation happened. like that. But still, something is still to be transformed. The heart is not yet transformed fully. The mind might have transformed, the intelligence might have transformed, the body might have transformed, and the false ego has to transform. That is the last thing. That should also go away. And then we don't desire anything material. We want only service. We only pleasure of the Lord. And this is not so easy. By default, our setting is we always get, just like adhyatmic klesh. If sickness is there, it's so difficult to go on. We may think, unless I become healthy, I cannot chant. But it is not true. All of us are healthy now. How are we chanting? It is not health that is required. It's a spiritual health that is required. And that comes from associating with devotees. There we get the strength to practice. So the health issue or some other thing, sometimes we may be something small thing, just like one small thorn in your leg, but whole attention goes there only. Yes or not? Every walk, dance to no question almost, but every walking, everything is centered around that thing only. We cannot even see there, we don't even see there, but the mind is able to see. Oh, there, it's near hill or near the toe, near somewhere in middle. That's where it will go. So similarly, any attachment we have, that's where our mind will be revolving around. Oh, this has to happen, this has to happen, this has to happen. Thinking of Krishna is very difficult. Very difficult. So we have to get out of all this, and by practicing with devotees, our mind will get trained, and one day we hope we will not be concerned about anything material.
In the last chapter where Gaurila Prabhu was asking the question, and in that support, Sudamanath Prabhu quoted one,
He was
that
a
if you can
devotee.
just quote it again, because it was Agnindra and Purvachitti.
Purvachitti.
And there it was been said by in the purport that he was not having the material desires. Now here, like, it was going to the Pitrulok. And now here, having a good son.
And he's not even desiring to go to Pitrulok.
Yeah. And it is like the son of the...
Yeah.
So how we can...
So that's what. It's like, when the daughter-in-law newly married, she comes to house, then is she chastised for her mistake, or the daughter is chastised? Isn't it? Sometimes a senior devotee will be chastised more for the mistake, some small flaw of younger devotee. So that's how we have to take it. That is a pure devotee. He doesn't mind all these things. And his assembly is also very elevated assembly. There, Prabhupada has made that statement. That means it must be based on one of the acharya. At least Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur or as far as I remember, Jiva Goswami did not make much comment. But so many other acharyas have, just like that Acharya Giridhar was quoted. Some other acharya might have said something about Agnidhara. So we could not understand till end exactly what was his status. Hari Suri is there. Maybe we can ask Kanai Krishna Prabhu. What is his, has he made comment on, or only 10th canto? Only 10th canto. Okay, okay. But at least other acharyas are there. We'll have to read there whether something was said about it. But we have to see that younger devotees are always little they do and they are glorified. And senior devotees for little mistake, then they may be chastised too much. So like that here is very elevated personalities are there. Lord is going to appear as his son after all. Not a joke. He has appeared already, and then he's going to appear as son also. So we should not compare the two and say then for Agnidhara it is said he had no material desire and then he goes to Pitrulok. And here he doesn't want to go to Pitrulok. He just wants a son, but son like Lord only. So why is he being condemned so much? Here the focus, we should not think that Nabhi is at wrong, Nabhi is at fault. Yeah, poor fellow and what do you call attached fellow. Why should he desire a son like a Lord? He should not desire. Like that, we should not take. This is to be taken in personal life. My life, I should not, means Grasta should think, I should not desire a son like Lord. As Prabhupada's purports are clear, revealing. That's how we should see. At least I take always like that. I never blame this characters in Bhagavatam, be he Jad Bharat, Miss Bharat Maharaj, or Agnidhra, or anyone. What is the lesson for me to learn in this scenario? Because that is very difficult. Sometimes we may know. How many of you seen one particular character in Bhagavatam? You had some understanding, but afterwards we came to know some Acharya's commentary and our outlook only changed. How many of you have experienced like that? Yeah, because that part we had not heard earlier. We are always told this side, and then years later somebody says, but this Acharya says like that. In fact, I heard even some devotees blame Tulsidas very heavily, saying that he is condemned. This Prabhupada himself has said some statements. It seems, yeah, but there are others. There in Bhavishya Purana or somewhere there is discussion that how this Hanumanji writes this Ramayana, and he presents to Valmiki Maharshi for what do you call editing, like that. And he says it's perfect, but when people read your Bhagavatam, your Ramayana, who will read my Ramayana? So immediately Hanumanji threw it in the ocean or somewhere. Oh, why did you do that? Was such a nice Ramayana. That could have been. So don't worry, not a problem. Don't think about the loss. In Kali Yuga, you will come that as Tulsidas, and you will write, because you have read already this Ramayana, you know everything. So you will write it. So like that we heard others. So one side may say, one group of devotees may blame Valmiki, this Tulsidas, and some after years later we may come to know he is, he is the one who is Valmiki only. He has come again. So that's why, at least as far as blame goes, we have to be extremely careful. Better not do it. And as far as appreciation, spiritual appreciation, we can offer to anyone who doesn't even deserve it in one sense. That is not a problem. As far as giving respect, even if you give little more respect, will never be a problem for you. But less respect could be deadly, could be troublesome. So, though I did not answer your question directly because we are not knowing all the Acharya's commentaries, but I just told the concept. Is it okay? Okay, 14th. Dear Lord, unless one worships the lotus feet of great devotees, one will be conquered by the illusory energy, and his intelligence will be bewildered. Indeed, who has not been carried away by the waves of material enjoyment, which are like poison? Your illusory energy is unconquerable. No one can see the path of this material energy or tell how it is working. So, Devi Yesha, Gunamayi, Mama Maya, Duratya. So, reconfirmation. Prabhupada is quoting those two lines anyway. So, in the Jiva Goswami says, that is, at the present time, there are people who take the worship of the devotee as insignificant. This is Jiva Goswami saying. So, here the devotees are glorified. Kova ihate aparajito aparajitaya. What are the exact words for devotees? Mahacharana. Towards the end it comes. Vishaya Visharayana Vrutta Prakrutir Anupasita Mahacharanaha. Anupasita means without worshipping. Mahacharanaha. The lotus feet of great devotees. That Chadiya Vaishnava Seva Nistara Paiche Keva. So without worshipping the lotus feet of great devotees, who will be able to conquer the illusory energy? No. Yasya Prasadat Bhagavad Prasado. If the Guru is pleased, then Lord is pleased. And when great devotees are pleased, Guru is pleased, and then Lord is pleased. So not just enough to approach Lord directly, we can approach rather pure devotees, worship their lotus feet, and we'll easily conquer over illusory energy. Okay, read the purport.
Maharaj Nabhi was inclined to performing great sacrifices for begetting a son. The son might be as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but such a material desire, be it great or insignificant, is brought about by the influence of Maya. A devotee does not at all desire anything for sense gratification. Devotion is therefore explained as devoid of material desires, anabhilasita sunya. Everyone is subjected to the influence of Maya and entangled in all kinds of material desires. And Maharaj Navi was no exception. Freedom from Maya's influence is possible when one engages in the service of the great devotees.
If you wish, you may underline that. It is same as what the whole translation is speaking in one sense. But Very important line. Freedom from Maya's influence is possible when one engages in the service of the great devotees. Mahat Charana Seva. Yes.
Without worshipping the lotus feet of a great devotee, one cannot be freed from Maya's influence. Srila Narottam Das Thakur therefore says, Chhadiya Vaishnava Seva Nistar Paiche Keva. Who has been freed from Maya's clutches without serving the lotus feet of a Vaishnava? Maya is aparajita and her influence is also aparajita. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 7.14. Daivi Hesha Gunamayi Mammaya Duratyaya. This divine energy of mind consisting of the three modes of nature is difficult to overcome. Only a devotee can surpass Maya's great influence. It was no fault on Maharaj Nabi's part that he wanted a son. He wanted a son like the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the best of all sons. By the association of the Lord's devotee, one no longer desires material opulence.
So you see here, Prabhupada is writing, it was no fault on Maharaj Nabi's part that he wanted a son. He wanted a son like the Supreme. So many times as I see that it is mainly for us to take some lessons. Like here Prabhupada is making it better. For Arjun also we can see in the same Bhagavad Gita, in the same first chapter itself. Prabhupada one side says a pure devotee, so naturally compassionate. Other side he says this is
Weakness of heart.
Weakness of heart. Hridaya Daurabalyam. Yeah, for Chitrakirti Maharaj also both sides are present. Basically anything material is condemned. So in our life we have to take it up like that. And always better, like Arjun, we know he's a pure devotee. He's put in that situation for our sake. Similarly, others also we should take it in that way. Yeah. Yes.
By the association of the Lord's devotee, one no longer desires material opulence. This is confirmed in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 22.54. Sadhu Sangha Sarva Sastra Kaya Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha Sarva Siddhi Hoy. And Madhya Leela 22.51. Mahat Kripa Vina Kon Krame Bhakti Noy Krishna Bhakti Dure Raho Samsara Naye Chay. If one is serious about escaping Maya's influence and returning home back to Godhead, one must associate with sadhu, devotee. That is the verdict of all scriptures. By the slight association of a devotee, one can be freed from the clutches of Maya. Without the mercy of the pure devotee, one cannot get freedom by any means. Certainly, a pure devotee association is necessary in order to obtain the loving service of the Lord. One cannot be freed from Maya's clutches without sadhu sangha, the benediction of a great devotee. In Srimad Bhagavatam 7.5.32, Prahlad Maharaj says, Naishamati stavaro krumangrim sripasti anartha pagamo yadartha mahiyasham padarajo abhishekam niskinchana namna vrinita yavat. One cannot become the Lord's pure devotee without taking the dust of a great devotee on his head. Padarajo abhishekam. A pure devotee is niskinchana. He has no material desire to enjoy the material world. One has to take shelter of such a pure devotee in order to attain his qualities. The pure devotee is always free from the clutches of Maya and her influence.
So one line Prabhupada said before Nasham Matis, certainly a pure devotee's association is necessary in order to obtain the loving service of the Lord. So we should also see in the other devotees association also, advanced devotees, that we are obtaining the loving service of the Lord. That should be obtained. That should be the goal. And that is possible only in the association of pure devotees or devotees. That's what we should be heading to. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes in the commentary, he who worships the feet of great devotees is free from Maya. And this king has not had this opportunity. So because he did not get association of great devotees whose lotus feet he served, that's why he has some other desire also. But this is the topmost. Next, 15th. O Lord, you perform many wonderful activities. Our only aim was to acquire a son by performing this great sacrifice. Therefore, our intelligence is not very sharp. We are not experienced in ascertaining life's goal. By inviting you to this negligible sacrifice for some material motive, we have certainly committed a great offense at your lotus feet. Therefore, O Lord of Lords, please excuse our offense because of your causeless mercy and equal mind. Vishwanath Thakur says, now they are concluding their prayers, prayers. Conclude their praise by asking pardon. Please forgive us. though you rarely show yourself to Brahma, you have shown us who are full of desires. So Lord's presence is not so easy. Yes.
Will it be correct to say that Maharaj Nabi is actually a pure devotee because Supreme Lord is personally going to appear as Lord Rishabdev? But because Lord inspired him in his heart to have a desire, because Lord wanted to appear, so he was inspired to have such kind of desire. Of course, Prabhupada is writing this kind of point that association of devotee he did not have for sadhaka like us, so that we know
That is Vishwanath Thakur writing. That he did not have.
So will it be correct to say this, that Lord inspired him to have a
Whether
desire like
he
this?
is a pure devotee, that I am not sure.
Because Prabhuji, Lord is appearing in his yajna.
Yes. True. Uh-huh.
I think
Ha,
something
acha.
similar is Dattatreya also it happens, no? So, he is not sure who is. So there also it is mentioned that he is not pure.
Pure prayers, Lord has appeared, giving darshan. person.
See, when Acharyas say, then we say. Like in the case of Maitreya Rishi, it is said he was a Kanishta Adhikari, and by associating with who? Uddhav, along with that, he became pure devotee eventually. So that may be the case also. But these are all very great worshipable personalities, that is for sure. Far above me. That we should be clear. Not that, oh, this Nabi seems to be a very low class man. I am a great devotee. I am not asking for any son. I don't even want son like Lord also. I just want to be a brahmachari. We don't have to take them so cheaply. They are all exalted personalities. Now some might be addressed as pure devotees, some might not be. They're all exalted. At least the behavior, that's what I take in my life very seriously. What I should learn, what I should not do, what I should not do. Where acharyas have mentioned clearly he is a pure devotee, he is a pure devotee. Where it is mentioned that he is a Kanishta Adhikari but became pure devotee, fine, that way. Yes.
Son, like the Lord's like own son, who was not clear pure devotee. He was
Bhaumasur.
Yeah, Bhaumasur, Narkasur.
Hmm.
Lord's son. We can say Lord's son. Like that Lord has given a birth. So what we can say like that?
Who is Pradyumna? Huh? Kamdev. Previous Kamdev. So, whatever the acharyas say, we say. But at least in all these personalities far above me. All worshipable. And from their life we learn something to be done, something not to be done. Isn't it? To Duryodhana. Yeah. So much darshan he gave every now and then. हाँ क्या हुआ? अच्छा अच्छा party change, huh? No problem. As long as you come to devotees and glorification of them, fine. Okay. So 15th, read the purport.
The priests were certainly unhappy to have called the Supreme Lord from Vaikuntha for such an insignificant reason. A pure devotee never wants to see the Lord unnecessarily.
So you may underline this. Anyway, we will not say, in that movies and all, sometimes they show. Anyway, Lord doesn't appear, but they want the hero will ring the bell and say, you what you call, you cure my mother or whatever, somebody is ill or something. But a pure devotee never wants to see even the Lord unnecessarily.
The Lord is engaged in various activities, and the pure devotee does not want to see him whimsically for his own sense gratification. The pure devotee simply depends on the Lord's mercy, and when the Lord is pleased, he can see him face to face. The Lord is unseen even by demigods like Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. By calling on the Supreme Lord, the priests of Nabi Maharaj proved themselves unintelligent. Nonetheless, the Lord came out of his causeless mercy. All of them therefore wanted to be excused by the Lord.
One thing I want to say, it's like, hate the sin and not the sinner. So I always see the person's nature, his behavior, his action and person separate. He, whatever he is a Krishna's son. So he's a pure devotee. So he's my friend, he's whatever. So everybody is to be loved. And the action is wrong. So in case he is okay, me correcting him, showing the proper path, I may do that. If not, I may tell somebody else to do that, or it may not be any of my businesses. I may just neglect it. So separating the person and his behavior, his particular thing. So that's what I do. And then we can remain free from any tendency or any problem of offending, be it our seniors, equals, younger devotees, or even materialistic people also. So we have to be very detached. As much as we are attached to our opinions, that we know that scientists, two scientists, one for scissor, one for knife, what is best for cutting, and both fought with like each other, and ultimately the knife fellow through the scissor fellow in the lake. He did not know swimming, he was going down, and ultimately before drowning he took out hand. Caesar is the way. He could not say because his head was already down. Only so we should not firmly remain this thing. Our opinion is as per Krishna's opinion. So Krishna says whatever. And ultimately Krishna says 4.35. If you have got, they will impart knowledge because they have seen the truth. Upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshina. So what knowledge they impart? By which we can see all living entities are mine. They are my part and parcel. So all living entities are Krishna's loved children. So they may have some defects. Those, like so many materialists have so many defects. How does it matter to my life? My life remains completely aloof from it. And devotees around also, not everybody's life is influencing me. Some few around, somebody may insult, somebody may glorify. That behavior is different from him. Him I always love, and the behavior, he praises me, then I see that his desire to make advancement by glorifying devotees. And when he insults me, then also Krishna wants to purify me. I like that explanation by His Grace Gaurang Prabhu in Brahmachari class. He said, Ikshamana means seeing. So when somebody without my fault, I had no fault, and he blames me, I become angry. What rascal nonsense! How dare of him to say all this is not true? I can prove it. All that. That is Ikshamana. Samikshamana means, yeah, there is some fault of mine also. That I also have behaved like this earlier and all that. Isn't it? That is how he explained. Something more. Yeah, that was Samikshamana. And then Susamikshamana means I have done so many things in the past which I don't know. Must have done so many past misdeeds. So I'm getting the result. Why to blame anyone? Just accept it. So three visions. One is blaming or any blame that was offered to me. The other one is accepting, yeah, I have done some mistakes, some certainly in this, in that means in this, it is limited to this life. In this life, yeah, okay, chalo. But when we are ready to see all past life misdeeds, that is the highest vision. Susamikshamana. So we should develop that. So not to take these behaviors very seriously if they are in the wrong direction. Rather learn how I should not, what should I not do. And if it is something very praiseworthy, we may adopt also in life.
Worship of the Supreme Lord for material gain is not approved by authorities, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 7.16. Chaturvidya bhajante mam jana sukrito no arjuna artho jigyasu artharti jnani cha vartarshabha. O best among the Bharatas, Arjuna, four kinds of pious men render devotional service unto me: the distressed, the desire of wealth, the inquisitive, and he who is searching for knowledge of the Absolute. Initiation into bhakti begins when one is in a distress condition or in want of money, or when one is inquisitive to understand the absolute truth. Nonetheless, people who approach the Supreme Lord in this way are not actually devotees. They are accepted as pious, Sukritina, due to their inquiring about the absolute truth, the Supreme Person of Godhead, not knowing the various activities and engagements of the Lord. Such people unnecessarily disturb the Lord for material gain. However, the Lord is so kind that even though disturbed, he fulfills the desires of such beggars. The pure devotee is Anya Abhilashita Shunya. He has no motive behind his worship. He is not conducted by the influence of Maya in the form of karma or jnana. The pure devotee is always prepared to execute the order of the Lord without personal consideration. The Ritvija, the priest of at the sacrifice, knew very well the distinction between karma and bhakti. And because they considered themselves under the influence of karma, fruitive activity, they begged the Lord's pardon. They knew that the Lord had been invited to come for some paltry reason. Paltry reason.
Their prayers are over. 15th was the last. Now Shukdev Goswami is saying, the priests who were even worshipped by King Nabhi, the emperor of Bharatvarsha, offered prayers in prose. Generally, they were in poetry and bowed down at the Lord's lotus feet. The Lord of Lords, the ruler of the demigods, was very pleased with them, and he began to speak as follows. That is 16th. 17th. The Supreme Personality of Godhead replied, O great sages, I am certainly very pleased with your prayers. You are all truthful. Lord is saying that you are all truthful. So you can see how when one pleads to the Lord, offers prayers with humility, that is the truth. Humility is the topmost truth. You have prayed for the benediction of a son like me for King Nabi, but this is very difficult to obtain. Since I am the Supreme Person without a second, and since no one is equal to me, another personality like me is not possible to find. In any case, because you are all qualified Brahmins, your vibrations should not prove untrue. I consider the Brahmins who are well qualified with Brahminical qualities to be as good as my own mouth. So when they speak, they are speaking the Lord's warning only. So they cannot be untrue. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, only I am similar to myself, since I alone am the Lord. So there cannot be a son like the Lord. Lord only has to come. A Samurdhava. Nobody is equal to him. Nobody is above him, greater than him. So there's no question. They are not asking son greater than Lord. They are asking son like God, Lord. But that is not possible because he's a Samurdhava. So he only will come. Read the purport.
The word avitatha gribhi means they whose spoken vibrations cannot be nullified. The Brahmanas, Dvija, the twice born, are given a chance by the Shastric regulations to become almost as powerful as the Supreme Lord. Whatever a Brahmana speaks cannot be nullified or changed in any circumstance. According to the Vedic injunctions, a Brahmana is the mouth of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, in all rituals, a Brahmana is offered food, Brahmana Bhojan. Because when a Brahmana eats, it is considered that the Supreme Lord himself eats. Similarly, whatever a Brahmana speaks cannot be changed. It must act. The learned sages who were priests at Maharaja Nabi's sacrifice were not only Brahmanas, but were so qualified that they were like Devas, demigods, or God himself. If this were not the case, how could they invite Lord Vishnu to come to the sacrificial arena? God is one, and God does not belong to this or that religion. In Kali Yuga, different religious sects consider their God to be different from the God of others, but that is not possible. God is one, and He is appreciated according to different angles of vision. In this verse, the word Kaivalyat means that God has no competitor. There is only one God. In the Svetasvara Upanishad 6.8, it is said, Natat samas chavi dishyate. No one is found to be equal to him or greater than him. That is the definition of God.
So many times we are called for Brahman Bhojan, isn't it? We are very happy. But other side also we have to know. That is golden egg of the hen. But the mouth also side is there. So mouth means whatever we speak should be truth only. So we should be in touch with absolute truth. We are representing him. That's why we are being called for prasadam. Brahman Bhojan. So isn't it? Yes or not? Nobody is saying yes. No, this is very heavy truth. We can't accept. Very difficult to digest. Brahman Bhojan is easy to digest. Okay, 18th. Since I cannot find anyone equal to me, I shall personally expand myself into a plenary portion and thus advent myself in the womb of Meru Devi, the wife of Maharaj Nabi, the son of Agnidhra. So here Lord is also saying word Agnidhra. That means it's very special, isn't it? Had he been a very low class fellow, why will Lord take his name from his mouth? Yeah, means see na, it is there in the shloka. These are all Lord saying na. So he's saying Tata Agnidhriyam, whatever that. The son of Agnidhra. So we should always pay respects at the lotus feet of King Agnidhra and Mother Purvachitti. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Even this Indradev also, Maharaj, His Holiness Radha Swami Maharaj in one of the lectures was saying, isn't it, that we should not think him to be ordinary. And Indradev Prabhu, Indra Prabhu, like that, should not think. Indra is he's worst of all the people in the universe. Somehow he is there as the king of demigods. The demigods also must be like that. They have appointed him. We should not have that approach. He is very special. In fact, isn't it? He might have associated with Gautam's wife and thereby got all that kind of eyes all over. But then it is said when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared, then he was the most fortunate person on the planet Earth, because the others were missing Lord's darshan because eyes blink. He never had that problem, because even if some eyes blinked, one at least eye was always open for Indra. He could always see. Hmm. Hmm. But if you see in Mayapur, that what they call Panchatattva Hall, isn't it? There they have the photo, no? That Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is dancing, and Indradev, I don't know what is his posture, but he's offering prayers or something. So all, where you have seen, somebody has seen the photo. It is there, no? In Panchatattva Hall only. Yeah, so he's the same. No, they don't have to. They can be of different universes also, and in different times also. That is not necessary. Not that all throughout all the pastimes of Indra here the same Indra. No. That Acharya's commentary will reveal which is this Indra. Just like this one also, no? This Ajamil pastime itself, isn't it? It is said to be from different universe or different time altogether. It is there in the beginning almost of that. The Kanauj will be there, but some more detail is given. I'm not remembering what. But it is not always the same. Okay, read the purport.
This is an example of the omnipotence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although he is one without a second, he expands himself by swamsha. His personal expansion and sometimes by Vibhinnamsha or his separate expansions, Lord Vishnu herein agrees to send his personal expansions as the son of Meru Devi, the wife of Maharaj Nabhi, who is the son of Agnindra. The Ratvija, the priest, knew that God is one, yet they prayed for the Supreme Lord to become the son of Maharaj Nabhi, to let the world know that the absolute truth, the Supreme Personality of God, is one without a second. When he incarnates, he expands himself in different potencies.
Everywhere, I was just thinking, it's just a side point, that everywhere the word Rutvija has come. Rutvig word did not come. Many times we call Rutvig. I was thinking whether what is it exactly? Rutvij or Rutvig? Whether it is Rutvija or Rutviga. That is my point. Not about anything other detail. Translation what? You're talking about translation or purport? Okay. Fine. 19th. Shukdev Goswami continued. After saying this, the Lord disappeared. The wife of King Nabhi, Queen Merudevi, was sitting by the side of her husband, and consequently she could hear everything the Supreme Lord had spoken. Purport proposes, according to Vedic injunctions, one should perform sacrifices in the company of one's own wife. sapatniko dharmam acharet. Religious rituals should be performed with one's wife. Therefore, Maharaj Nabhi conducted his great sacrifice with his wife by his side. And then last, 20th, he says, "O Vishnu Datta, Parikshit Maharaj, the Supreme Personality of Godhead was pleased by the great sages at that sacrifice. Consequently, the Lord decided to personally exhibit the method of executing religious principles as observed by brahmacharis, sannyasis, vanaprasthas, and grihasthas engaged in rituals, and also satisfy Maharaj Nabhi's desire." So here comes, I think, Sudamanath Prabhu was saying, Lord wants to, appear. Consequently, the Lord decided to personally exhibit the method of executing religious principles. So he will do that as Rishabdev and also satisfy Maharaj Nabhi's desire. So that is also there, secondary. Consequently, he appeared as the son of Merudevi in his original spiritual form, which is above the modes of material nature. Srila Jiva Goswami Pad says, what is that word? Rushinam, of the great sages, that is brahmacharis, that is grihasthas, Jiva Goswami says. If you see the words Vata Rashananam, that means sannyasis. So Rashana, Vat, without, they are without cloth. No. Rashananam, Vata Rashananam. Rashna is close, no? And Vat, without that. And Shramananam of the Vanaprasthas, Rishinam of the great sages, so that is referring to Grihasthas, and Urdhva Manthinam of the Brahmacharis. So Jiva Goswami said this he would show by his conduct. All these Brahmacharis, Grihasthas, Vanaprasthas, Sannyasis, how should they behave? The Lord would show by his conduct in the future as Rishabdev. So he will show all four kind of Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyasi. We see him, at least we see him as Grihastha, we see him as Vanaprastha and kind of Sannyasi. All that. Read the purport. Of Avatar. Lila Avatar? Sure? Avatar can be plenary portion also, no? That's not a problem. See, Prabhupada has given, I think, some clarification. And Chaitanya Charitamrita also, but I'm not remembering. Read the purport.
When the Supreme Lord appears or descends as an incarnation within this material world, he does not accept a body made of the three modes of material nature, Sattva Guna, Rajo Guna, and Tamo Guna. Mayavadi philosophers say that the impersonal God appears in this material world by accepting a body in the Sattva Guna. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti states that the word Shukla means consisting of Shuddha Sattva. Lord Vishnu descends in his Shuddha Sattva form. Shuddha Sattva refers to the Sattva Guna, which is never contaminated. In this material world, even the mode of goodness, Sattva Guna, is contaminated by tinges of Rajoguna and Tamoguna. When Sattva Guna is never contaminated by Rajoguna and Tamoguna, it is called Shuddha Sattva. Sattvam Vishuddham Vasudeva Shabditam. Bhagavatam 4.3.23. That is the platform of Vasudeva, whereby the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva, can be experienced. In Bhagavad Gita 4.7, Sri Krishna himself says, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bharata abhyutthanam dharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharata, and a predominant rise of religion, at that time I descend myself. Unlike ordinary living entities, the Supreme Lord is not forced by the modes of material nature to appear. He appears dharman darshiyatu kama, to show how to execute the functions of a human being. The word dharma is meant for human beings and is never used in connection with beings inferior to human beings, such as animals. Unfortunately, without being guided by the Supreme Lord, human beings sometimes manufacture a process of dharma by concoction. Actually, dharma cannot be made by man. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam, Bhagavatam 6.3.19. Dharma is given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, just as the law is given by the state government. Man-made dharma has no meaning. Srimad Bhagavatam refers to man-made dharma as kaitava dharma, cheating religion. The Supreme Lord sends an avatar, incarnation, to teach human society the proper way to execute religious principles. Such religious principles are Bhakti Marga. As the Supreme Lord himself says in Bhagavad Gita, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. The son of Maharaj Navi, Rishabhadev, appeared on this earth to preach the principles of religion that will be explained in the 5th chapter of this 5th canto. Does that-
Anybody has Vishnu Shakti Thakur's commentary? You have? On this only. Yeah, could you read it?
O Parikshit, Vishnu Datta, the Lord appeared in Merudevi, who remained in the inner chambers. Tat avarodayane. He desired to show the principles of the naked mendicants. But children and fools are also naked. To qualify that, he says that they are performers of austerities.
One
But-
by one, he's clarifying. If you say naked, then naked children are also naked.
But atheists also perform austerities.
Atheists.
To qualify this, further he says that they are sages acting with knowledge according to the scripture who do not fall from celibacy. The Lord would appear with a body made of Shuddha Sattva, Shuklaya.
That is about Vishnu Shakti. Okay, so that is the end. So any question? As such, many were asked during the class. Or else little revision. Short. What do you remember from the beginning of the class? Mic is on your chair only. Yes, Manmohan Shambru. Give him the mic.
In beginning, there are mentioned that 7 things like to give charity, something like that.
Part of the sacrifice.
So there it is mentioned that Lord will not please by offering all the 7 things, but with offering with love and devotion.
Correct. Very good. Any other? Yes, Hari Gaurang Prabhu. Online devotees also can tell some points of revision.
In this one point, it says that the Brahmanas, they represent the mouth of the Supreme Lord.
Represent?
Mouth of the Supreme
Mouth
Lord.
of the Supreme Lord.
So whatever they speak will not become false. It will be true. So and Lord honors prasadam through the mouth of Brahmanas.
Hari Bol. Brahman Bhojan ki jai. Yeah. Fact of life. Lord only says it. Yes, any other?
One of the important discussion we had, that how one cannot be free from Maya's influence without serving a pure devotee of the Lord. Because Daivi Hesha Gunmayim Maya Duratya. By
Yes.
serving the pure devotee, one can
Chadiya Vaishnava Seva.
Nistar Paiche.
Nistara Paiche Kama. Mahat Sevam Dwaram. Ahur Vimuktes. Yes.
We discussed that Lord is very much pleased with the humility of this priest. Though they are pure devotees, they are saying that, please help us remember you when we will be leaving this body. So we should have this humble disposition that will attract the mercy of the Lord.
Yes. Somebody online. Yes, Ravagrupa Prabhu.
Also coming in another translation that how sages were telling that it is so difficult to have darshan of the Lord. Even though they're very great sages and all that thing. And also later Prabhupada was telling that a pure devotee is simply wanting to perform the pure devotional service and everything. He's not so much whimsically wanting to have darshan of the Lord. Like that.
Unnecessarily he does not
Unnecessarily,
want.
yeah, he doesn't want to do that. Basically, he wants to render the service and satisfy the Lord. Whenever Lord is, the Lord will reveal him. Give the
Yes.
darshan.
Any other? Online devotees, your chance. Nobody online, then offline. Hare Krishna.
Remembrance of the Lord during the difficult
1 minute,
phases.
Mataji. There is lot of who is coming. Could you just Okay. Could you check your setting?
Remembrance of the Lord during
Yes.
the difficult phases of the life.
Remembrance of the Lord.
during the difficult phases of the life.
But what is the point? Acha,
We should remember always, because in means as you mentioned about the chanting and all, we chant the holy name, but during the difficult phase, means we used to forget the holy name.
Yes. And that the death time will be the most difficult phase of life. We don't even know what it means. Though we have experienced several times death, in this life we have no remembrance of it. At the time of death only we'll experience. Yes.
One short question here.
Hmm.
Purport, text number 9, text 19, purport, Srila Prabhupada says that according to Vedic injunction, one should perform sacrifices in the company of one's own wife. Religious question is, according to Vedic injunctions, even brahmacharis, they used to perform sacrifices. So is it necessary? It means that one should perform, that means only
Those sacrifices are purely for the pleasure of the Lord.
Yes.
So there it is wife and all, no question. The brahmacharis have no wife.
So when it is mentioned here,
The karma kandiya sacrifices and all that. Their wife is required always. That's why Lord Ram, though Mother Sita, after that whole thing, she went underground. Bhudevi, she entered. So next 11,000 years, according to Ramayana, and maybe changing 13,000 years according to Bhagavatam, he was on planet Earth and he performed hundreds and thousands of sacrifices. But wife is not there. He had accepted Ekapatni Vrat. So wife is not there. What to do? How the sacrifice will complete? So he had one statue, image of Srimati Sita Devi made, and that image would be kept in the sacrifice, and he would perform the yajna. Like that, he performed hundreds and thousands of sacrifices for all those 11,000 or 13,000 years. The wife is must.
So this is particularly related to Karma Kanda Yajna.
Karma Kanda or something like that, which the Grihasthas perform.
Okay.
For them, wife is required. Brahmachari is no question. Yes. Any other part of revision? Devotees already. Actions speak louder than words.
Hare Krishna.
Nobody comes with stick. I am not yet ready for sannyas. Yes.
Hare Krishna, on behalf of Bhakti Vaibhav batch to 2020, we would
It's a
like
nice
to
way of ending the revision.
we would like to express our deep gratitude for the wonderful classes, insightful classes, and patient question and answers. By expressing our gratitude by loudly chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra one time to His grace. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, 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 Hare Hare. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Almost we covered all the purports. That is most important. By the grace of BVRV. Because for 5 days only, 3 chapters. In fact, we did not need 1 day. 4 days were enough. Hare Krishna. Thank you all very much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila